Grayson on the Fire Mage is going to be really exposed, but equally WizK on the Shadow Priest, he's going to be taking a lot of damage. Babycake's Windwalker Monks to kind of shred Shadow Priest right now. I'm curious to see if Upsurge on the Restoration Shaman can make it work. Maybe getting a little bit of inspiration from some of the European teams in the previous weeks.
The one weakness of the Shaman right now, currently after the Pack Spirit reductions, is also being attacked. So I'm wondering if Getchur Boy Dog are going to implement that. So far, it doesn't look like that's going to be their strategy. Instead, Cycloning Upsurge, isolating WizK as the primary focus, as Combustion is pulling in a lot of pressure, but really not enough to get too many cooldowns from WizK, unfortunately. They did get the Gladiator's Medallion, which actually is a big thing. You can't use your Void Shift when you are stunned, and now that WizK doesn't have that Gladiator's Medallion to escape from a stun, he can't rely on that to save himself. But now the counter aggression from both sides, actually. Grayson hovering at about 10% health, Flop dispelling off some damage over time effects, and gets crowd controlled as a result of Vampiric Touch's debuff application. Babycake's feared away defensively by WizK so that he can really start developing momentum on Grayson. Curious to see when Flop is going to dedicate the Iron Bark. Ops 2 now, prior to any crowd control. That was the Vendetta push. It was the Shadow Fiend of WizK, so those are very big offensive cooldowns from the move initially. Not really hitting the mark in terms of the defensives that they would like to get with that, something like the Cauterize or the Ice Block. We see a defensive silence onto Grayson to try and disrupt crowd control, but Flop was there to coordinate with Cyclone instead. However, the Cyclone is not looking to be enough to force the dispersion. Peekaboo stuns Grayson away. Upsurge with a significant mana lead at this point, but there's the double stun where WizK cannot use his Gladiator's Medallion, instead trading dispersion. Going to be an adequate exchange for that attack, but it was not Touch of Death. Dispersion available in 1:20, Touch of Death available in 1:05. Those numbers don't line up, so Babycakes will have a 10-second window with that Touch of Death to try and push for a kill. Getchur Boy Dog's main objective before that is to get as many cooldowns as possible, so the Earthen Wall Totem is one of those from Upsurge. If they can get it right now, which they do, this is a big opening in another 45 seconds for Babycakes to get a kill.
Yeah, WizK, of course, he still has the Greater Fate. He has the Void Shift. There is some defense available. WizK gets interrupted on the Mass Dispel, going for a Mind Control. Combustion gets pulled out by Grayson, but not able to accomplish too much. WizK is going to be completely fine sitting through that. Upsurge really didn't have to use any sort of defensives. Kidney Shot now secure on Grayson, and this is where the move can start generating some pressure. They need crowd control on Flop, but he's just positioned so far away in the matchup. It's really difficult. WizK unable to get there for any sort of fears. The only crowd control they really have is the Blind Sap and Silence. Of course, Upsurge's not going to be able to go for Hex, as Grayson has, Curse Dispel. Flop does as well. So in terms of crowd control, the move are limited in the setup. They just really have to get some damage rolling. Upsurge now into a Cyclone. He's actually opting to play Relentless. So that's kind of curious, because now the move sort of lose the option to trade out a Trinket, the Gladiator's Medallion, with the Spirit Link Totem as sort of a get-out-of-jail-free card where he can save WizK. Without that available, that's something Getchur Boy Dog can kind of exploit.
That was the big Touch of Death push from Babycakes. How much pressure can they develop off the back of it? WizK decides to go aggressive, silencing Flop, denying his heals with good damage onto Grayson. Potential opportunity to get Cauterized. They do get the Gladiator Safeguard, but not enough damage to push it anymore. WizK in a bit of trouble here. Ring of Peace just popping him around the corner, but it's going to be safety back there away from Grayson. Babycakes is just effectively soloing WizK. We see a defensive grapple weapon onto Peekaboo. Simultaneous with the Polymorph on Upsurge has created a 3 versus 1, but WizK lines up a Mass Dispel, breaking the crowd control chain, stalling the push. Mana still slightly in favor of the move, but based on crowd control opportunities, I think Flop could look to try and get a drink at some point here soon. Meteor comes crashing in onto WizK. Not going to be enough damage to force too many cooldowns just yet. Babycake's getting stunned away by Peekaboo, trying to stall for Upsurge to recover. Grayson right on top of him, looking for Polymorph. Peekaboo again shutting it down, but is unable to get the follow-up. Grayson goes aggressive with this Polymorph. Is it enough? They need to get the dispersion on this push. Upsurge comes out of the crowd control, places the Earthen Wall Totem down, and it should be enough damage reduction. Ring of Peace knocking Upsurge out of line of sight. Potential game-winning play for Babycakes if WizK isn't careful. Paralysis on Upsurge, unfortunately on basically full diminishing return. Not the most effective use of that crowd control. And now that the crowd control has subsided, we are likely to see Absterge recover. Dragon's Breath, 2-second crowd control. I don't think it's going to be long enough. Absterge is still on Polymorph Diminishing Return and has Grounding Totem to protect himself. But Flop took the opportunity while his team was playing aggressive on top of the enemy team to move to drink. That's exactly what he needed to do to keep his team in the fight moving into Dampening.
Ooh, nice double leg sweep. The move making a few mistakes here. They cannot group up when Babycakes has that leg sweep available. They're constantly getting caught into these double stuns. Something to definitely look out for. WizK taking some damage right now. Ascendance gets traded out by Absterge. Vampiric Embrace by WizK. It's a lot of additional healing. He should be able to hold on. If we look at mana, Flop sat down, went for a drink, recovered most of his mana, and that puts Getchur Boy Dog in a prime situation moving into Dampening. We're 5 minutes into the game. Absterge sitting a Polymorph. WizK, he's okay. I mean, Getchur Boy Dog, they've had pretty good pressure, but there hasn't been a moment in the game where WizK has really been in trouble without a solid answer. And I kind of get the feeling that the move is just going to start slowly pulling ahead in this matchup.
That's if they can burn the mana of Flop and prevent him from drinking moving forward. Otherwise, I think the opposite may be true. Smoke Bomb gets dropped. Big Power Blade by Peekaboo to get the ice block during this push, but Babycakes is there to back him up. Peekaboo is unable to continue the assault, and Grayson looks to be recovering. Peekaboo in a Polymorph. Grayson moves in to switch it, gets it onto Absterge. WizK's interrupted. He can't support, but unfortunately ends up breaking a bit prematurely. It's definitely unfortunate. Instead, going for the double leg sweep, trying to develop some pressure with the Meteor, but not finding really any damage whatsoever onto the move here as Dampening continues to rise. I would like to see Getchur Boy Dog at some point attack Absterge. I feel like after so long of attacking WizK, not really coming close to forcing too many significant cooldowns, that they should experiment with switching targets. So far, they're just playing the safe strategy of drinking and staying on the Shadow Priest, which certainly will extend the game for themselves. But in Dampening, the Shadow Priest and the Assassination Rogue's pressure, I think, is going to be much higher, at least on multi-targets, which could be the advantage for the move. In this position, though, the move are kind of pinned down, and Absterge can't drink, so perhaps this is a checkmate position for Getchur Boy Dog if they can sustain through WizK's damage.
Peekaboo gets the restealth, cheap shot onto Flop, into a silence, Garrote silence on Grayson. Good setup here by Peekaboo, but the disarm from Babycakes shuts that down. Now WizK on the back foot, gets interrupted. What is he going to be able to do? He's sitting through with that Earthen Shield totem right now, should be more than enough to keep him alive. The problem with this matchup is Absterge, he hasn't been able to drink. I mean, if Getchur Boy Dog can just hold on and not fall over, Flop can keep his mana high, they might be able to just win by getting Absterge completely tapped on mana. The move does have solid pressure right now, but they need to try to close out the game as soon as possible. Set up those win conditions we know them for. Babycakes now maybe a decent target in the match if they decide to go after him. Full kidney shot secured over onto Grayson. Decent damage coming in from the move. 15% dampening. And both of these healers are going to really start struggling.
Yep, we're now at 16% dampening, and Absterge is almost completely out of mana, but Restoration Shamans can use Healing Wave, super efficient healing spell, low mana cost. Although this push from Getchur Boy Dog has gotten the Spirit Link Totem. Finally, major defensives are starting to crack for the move as Dampening continues to rise. Grayson playing all-out aggression on top of Absterge. A Peekaboo once again there to break up the chain, interrupting the Polymorph, but Babycakes keeps up the pressure. Absterge has to deny, placing that Earthen Wall Totem to stabilize, but in Dampening, it's going to become a lot less effective. They're stacked up. Critical mistake positionally here by the move, and Getchur Boy Dog capitalized with Peekaboo locked in a Poly and Absterge in a ring. It's a 3-on-1. WizK looking to retreat away, getting a double Psychic Scream. Equally so to answer the crowd control exactly when that Touch of Death explodes. Good play there by WizK. Peekaboo stunning up the Fist of Fury, trying to stall for Absterge to recover. Ascendance is buying Absterge some time, but so long as Flop can continue to drink, I think this is a checkmate position for Getchur Boy Dog in game one.
Yeah, Grayson just has to survive. Peekaboo needs to try to take him down, but it's just so difficult. Flop sitting down for a drink, recovering his mana. If he gets a full mana bar here, this is just a complete disaster for the move. They have to win off crowd control. The mana win condition just doesn't seem to be available, but Absterge surprisingly has been able to hold on for quite some time. I mean, he's been 20-30% mana for the last couple of minutes. We're 25% dampening. The move are relatively stable. Dispersion's available for WizK. He still has the Void Shift. And maybe they can just win in a cheap shot silence onto Flop if they get enough damage rolling. Eventually in the game, Babycakes is going to become a solid target as well for Peekaboo to go after. With the limited healing due to dampening, Babycakes won't be able to self-sustain nearly as much, and that is going to give the move a decent opening.
All right, let's see if the move can do it here. Finally, some damage starting to sink in onto both sides at 26% dampening. WizK, though, with Vampiric Embrace active, is going to be providing a lot of healing to his team. Definitely a good recovery mechanic there while his healer was in crowd control. Also, the defensive Psychic Screams have been on point, crowd controlling Baby Cakes when WizK would be in trouble. We see a blind attempt here by Peekaboo. They get Flop's Trinket, so Vendetta's up in 13. Switch to Flop and make him drop. I think that is the best move for the move moving forward in this game, because right now they're just falling behind. Upsurge is interrupted. This could easily be the Dispersion if they have any amount of damage to follow it up. Counterspell ending in 1 second. Dispersion has been forced. Got your Safeguard overlapped with it. Multiple defensives in 1 interrupt. Grayson with an MVP counterspell. Perfect triple Dragon's Breath into a full Polymorph. Things are starting to fall apart for the move. They still have that Vendetta play, but it looks like they've decided to commit it to Grayson. Grayson still has an Ice Block. He can more than easily trade. I really feel it's WizK falling behind. He's already burnt through the Void Shift now. They're stacking up for triple leg sweeps. The positioning is not looking good on their part. Peekaboo's grapple weapons right when he could have potentially got the Cauterize of Grayson. Baby Cake's supporting effectively. What's really surprising is that Flop has burned through a full mana bar probably 5 or 6 times at this point. Smoke Bomb gets dropped. Temporal Shield to try and soak some damage. Upsurge crowd controlled for a second, but Baby Cake Psychic Screamed away defensively. Peekaboo looking like he wants to switch back to Baby Cakes. Then Shadow stepping back over to Grayson. Who is Peekaboo going to go after? I really feel this Vendetta, this last Vendetta could have got much more value on a different target. Peekaboo going to use Vanish defensively, silence Grayson and stun Baby Cakes, and then switch back to Grayson with the Kidney Shot. Iron Bark available. Not going to be pressed here. It's WizK who's just constantly on the back foot. The move still have the Spirit Link Totem. Finally, some counter pressure here on to Getchur Boy Dog. Looking to get the Cauterize. Just a tad bit more damage to get it, but it doesn't look like they have it. Grayson holds on without getting the Cauterize out of the way. That's devastating for the move. Now they're down their Spirit Link.
Yeah, I think Baby Cakes is going to die. I really do. They get crowd control on Flop, Kidney Shot on Baby Cakes. It's over. He's got no defensive cooldowns whatsoever. They just need to set it up right. He's rotting down, but on the flip side, Getchur Boy Dog, they have a lot of pressure. WizK forced into the Dispersion. They need to keep the damage rolling on Baby Cakes. He is the best target right now. Silence. Baby Cakes getting low. He's trying to escape. Peekaboo all over him at this point. Good Ring of Peace by Baby Cakes in order to survive, but that allows the move a lot of freedom to reset. WizK is going to be able to get out a lot of damage. They force out the Ice Block, and Grayson now, he doesn't really have too much left. Baby Cake's still a really exposed target. He has no Trinket, no Fortifying Brew, no Touch of Karma, nothing really. Peekaboo can basically pick his poison at this part. Is he going to go after Grayson? Is he going to go after Baby Cakes? He gets the cheap shot on the Flop. The move looking to make game-winning plays. They held on to their win condition. Full Kidney Shot on Grayson. Flop responds with the Iron Bark, but look, Baby Cakes is still rotting down low. He's such a prime target. He might just get soloed by WizK.
It's looking like double kill potential for the move. Despite Flop's consistent drinking, his mana is basically burned down. If he tries to drink right now, there's no defense to trade for the regeneration. Upsurge equally so, though, is limited on defense. It's going to come down to a swing of momentum. Who can push forward with the largest amount of burst in a small window of time? That is going to be the victor. Baby Cakes can reverse burst damage with Touch of Karma. Big mistake by the move. They stack up. Baby Cakes punishes. Gets the Gladiator's Medallion of WizK. Baby Cakes can't trade Touch of Karma. He's going all in. This is the swing of momentum. They got 15 seconds to kill WizK. Baby Cakes knows that they have to go all out. They need the kill right now. 10 seconds away from it. Can they find it before they fall? Meteor is going to come crashing in, but they grip Upsurge into the Meteor. Perfect play by WizK, getting his healer out of crowd control. Peekaboo desperately trying to save the team, stunning him up, but he's bought time for Dispersion. Now it's available. WizK can trade. Now the momentum swings in favor of the move as WizK recovers. Baby Cake's on the run. Iron Bark about to fade. Peekaboo in hot pursuit. Shadow stepping over, but Transcendence. Peekaboo still has sprint. He's going to reconnect. If they can interrupt Upsurge, though, he's in a poly, but Baby Cakes is going to be falling to the momentum. Perfect peels by Peekaboo. Grayson trying to play it out, but I think it's unlikely that he gets the kill into WizK with some off Shadowmans. WizK is going to stabilize. A clean 51% dampening for game number 1.
Yeah, I feel like that was a perfect example when the game is that close of the 10% healing nerf for the Restoration Druid coming.
A force on the online scene, on the ladder. Obviously multiple rank 1 titles between them. Grayson on the Death Knight is not something we've really seen too often. I'm kind of curious to see how this works out. I mean, on paper, this is a composition that should slaughter the move. I mean, we saw the boys do it. I feel like Getchur Boy Dog, if they can play this well, this is an uphill battle for the move, certainly.
Well, when in doubt, Zug out here. Windwalker DK going to be selected for Getchur Boy Dog. This is a composition that's been giving the move a lot of trouble. However, this is the first time we've seen Grayson on a Death Knight, so perhaps he can't stand up to the standard that he needs to. So far, it's looking pretty good with good damage onto WizK, forcing multiple defensives from the team of the move. WizKay looking to try and counter-aggress with a double Psychic Scream, but dispelled immediately. Babycakes anticipates the attack here, activating that Fortify and Brew right before being stunned, reducing a lot of damage while his healer was silenced. That was a nice read by Babycakes. Now he is trying to get aggressive, dropping the Earth, Wind, and Fire, trying to pressure WizKay. Any Magic Zone traded for Vendetta, at least a 1-for-1 exchange here from Grayson, although it may not have been necessary. Absurge getting interrupted by Grayson. It's going to be very important that if they're killing the Shadow Priest, that there is some amount of crowd control for Absurge. They have Death Grip, they have Asphyxiate, Mind Freeze, Bash, and Paralysis to do this. Currently Paralysis active on Absturge. It would be nice to chain these together, so if we see a Mind Freeze on Absturge's next healing wave, they grip Absturge in. This is another way to crowd control his heals. This looks like a great chain from Getchur Boy Dog with the follow-up Cyclone. WizKay will have to use Dispersion. That was great crowd control from Getchur Boy Dog. Not just purely running down the healer with this Windwalker Death Knight, they're bringing in the strategies that they have with their mage compositions and the power of a melee cleave together. If Getchur Boy Dog can solidify this composition, it's going to be quite threatening.
Yeah, look at Flop's mana. It's horrible. He's already 40% mana. We're only 2 minutes into the game. If the move can hold on, they can keep up this pressure on Babycakes and Grayson. Maybe they can win this match. Getchur Boy Dog, of course, they burned through a lot of the defensive cooldowns. I think WizKay is going to be in trouble very shortly. Might have to trade out that Void Shift, certainly. Absurge with Paralysis, good crowd control on him. There's decent pressure developing right now for Getchur Boy Dog. Flop's sitting down for a drink. He kind of realizes that Grayson, Babycakes, they should be able to keep themselves alive. Babycakes with a preemptive Fortifying Brew. That allowed Flop to get out of combat, start drinking, regenerate that mana, and it puts them in a much more prime position moving forward.
All right, let's see if Flop can continue to maintain his mana for his team to keep pushing for cooldowns or potentially a kill here. The next double leg sweep could be the end of the game if Getchur Boy Dog can line it up. Mind Freeze denying heals from Absurge during Ascendance, building more momentum. Where's the grip? Where's the leg sweep? They need to do it as soon as possible. Big opportunity to net a kill in 14 seconds if they've got it. They've got good pressure to keep it going. Flop's moving in. They got the crowd control chain started. Peekaboo moves in, denies the follow-up. Beautifully done by Peekaboo, but Flop repositions, goes for Bash, then line of sights WizKay to go for Cyclone. Good positioning, good cross crowd control with the stun now onto WizKay, but not enough damage. Psychic Scream gonna be crowd controlling Babycakes, Kidney Shot to hold Grayson in place. Peekaboo and WizKay stall the pressure so that Absurge can sit through the crowd control, but actually still quite a bit of damage. Absurge trying to get some healing waves in there. They do not want to have to use Dispersion outside of crowd control. That would be devastating because later on, then Absurge, when he's not able to heal in crowd control, they won't have anything to trade. Grip into a triple. Well done here by Getchur Boy Dog. Peekaboo cycloned on his Trinket. Flop certainly utilizing that Cyclone effectively, although it's a very expensive spell, so he is going to need to drink a lot if he wants to continue this usage.
Yeah, Grayson needs to keep himself alive. Flop's sitting down for a drink. We need a full reset on mana in this situation. If Flop can reset his mana, it's going to put them in a prime situation. WizKay still just being tunneled down. No Dispersion available for another minute and 20 seconds. There's an opportunity here for Getchur Boy Dog. Babycakes now into a Kidney Shot. Honestly, the move they really have to hold on. I think it's unlikely they can take Grayson or Babycakes down through Restoration Druid healing with the amount of self-healing that these classes have. They somehow have to weather the storm. They have to survive until 15-20% dampening. I think that's where their win condition really comes in. But until then, I think Getchur Boy Dog, they're going to be feeling very stable, and they're going to be able to continue this offensive push without the move really being able to sort of swat them away.
All right, let's see if they can swat them away. Mana not looking good for Absurge in this position, although I feel like it wasn't looking good for him at all in game number 1 either, and they managed to pull it off. The crowd control is what's most threatening from Getchur Boy Dog. They've been consistently getting Gladiator's medallions from both WizKay and Absurge, although now the move looked to counter-aggress. Silence on Flop, but no follow-up. A little bit disappointing here. That is certainly not going to be enough crowd control to force any cooldowns. It's now WizKay who falls behind. However, Jellybeans has been playing a Mage in the tournament, so if Getchur Boy Dog blind lock this Windwalker Death Knight, it would be with my anticipation that we see Jellybeans Mage to counteract it. And that could be devastating because the move won the blind pick, so they'll have the swing match advantage should this go to a game number 5. Getchur Boy Dog seem to have an answer for the Shadow Priest Rogue, but I don't know if their Death Knight Windwalker will be able to beat the Rogue Mage that the move have been preparing, and that Rogue Mage is really what the move need to rely on to deal with these melee cleaves if their Rogue Shadow Priest Shaman is not enough.
Babycakes with the Fortifying Brew, trying to reduce that damage. Flop has been able to reset his mana consistently in this match. And it just doesn't seem like the move even care. I mean, in the last game, they didn't try to shut down the drinking whatsoever. It's basically a non-factor. They kind of realized later on in the game, Flop will burn through his mana really quickly. It's going to be hard for him to heal through that damage. 5% dampening at this point. I'm kind of curious to see when the move are able to start generating some pressure. I feel like Absurge, he's really going to start struggling keeping WizK alive with just the Riptide, just the Earth Shield. He has to start casting out some heals, and at that point, that's when he becomes susceptible to interrupts, susceptible to crowd control, and he can fall behind really, really quickly. But I'm actually surprised to see how stable the move is in this situation. I mean, WizK still got the Greater Fade, he still has the Void Shift, nice triple leg sweep coming in. Grayson used the Death Grip to get Absurge on top of Peekaboo and WizK. They were able to get triple crowd control with that. Silence now on a Flop. Grayson, is he going to be in trouble? That really is the question. I feel like at this point, Sid, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, looks like he's recovering. The move set up a swap to Flop. 4 seconds before that, Glaire's Medallion. Double Psychic Scream on the DPS. They go for the follow-up. They're looking for an all-in. They don't get the kill, though, unfortunately. There, Baby Cakes using the reverse harm on Flop, giving him a big heal and support exactly when he needed it. Good teamwork there from Baby Cakes. Now Absurge is in crowd control and WizK is in trouble. Fade is about to end. And with that, that was a massive heal, seemingly off of nothing. The Vampiric Embrace Void Form combo is certainly a huge recovery mechanic. Baby Cakes caught the stun, but he pre-read the situation, activating Touch of Karma right before being stunned, immuning his own death and allowing him to continue to push forward with the momentum to try and get the kill or major cooldowns. They have to get a major cooldown with this assault. They need to be getting a Spirit Link Totem or a Void Shift, but they're not finding it. Absurge gets a healing wave. He gets Ursul's Vortex on the Death Grip, so he can actually avoid being leg sweeped. Grayson tries to compensate with an Asphyxiate. Flop is there to try and cover up that mistake, unfortunately, with a Cyclone, but doesn't look like they've got enough crowd control. Baby Cakes is stunned away. Anti-Magic Zone going to be dropped by Grayson. Not lined up with the Vendetta. Big opportunity in 50 seconds for Peekaboo there. Getchur Boy Dog looking a bit desperate as they continue to just push forwards to take WizK down.
Yeah, WizK just under assault constantly in this game. Absurge with a preemptive Spirit Link Totem on that bash. Nice heads-up read there, but Flop was able to extend it with the Cyclone. We are at around 20% dampening. This is when Grayson could become an exposed target, but in the last game, we saw Baby Cakes fall. He could be definitely a really easy target for WizK and Peekaboo to eventually take down. Once Expel Harm doesn't heal you for as much, it's much easier for the Shadow Priest, the Rogue, to start developing pressure, but it's WizK on the back foot. There's really not too much left for him. He's got the Void Shift. In the meantime, Peekaboo forcing Baby Cakes to retreat, and this is what we want to see. The move have to be in a situation where Baby Cakes is scared for his life. If he runs away, stops dealing damage, that's when Absurge can recover, but look at Absurge's mana. He is completely tapped. He has nothing left, and I just don't know how long he can heal through this kind of damage. Windwalker Death Knight with really essentially 0 mana.
All right, let's see if they can pull it off here. Things are getting dicey for the move. Dampening at critical mass, but it could be an opportunity to switch to the Death Knight here shortly if they can stabilize. Ascendant's active for Absurge, but he's crowd controlled and can't heal with it. That's absolutely devastating. WizK's trying to buy time, using Psychic Scream on the Death Knight. Absurge gets 1 heal, goes for a Hex, gets that on Grayson. Flops.
Oh, Baby Cakes!
Can't dispel. Grayson in a bit of a panic attack, almost not using the Touch of Karma, getting blinded at low, but not. I don't think this is too consequential. Maybe it is.
It is.
Smoke Bomb up in 7. They're just going to push for the kill without it, trying to just power through.
No mana on Flop.
No Iron Bark. Diffuse Magic still available. Baby Cake's going to be using his mobility with the Chains of Ice from the Death Knight. And Peekaboo is going to have a difficult time connecting. Although Baby Cake's maybe pushing aggressive at an inopportune time. Peekaboo is slowly but surely making his way over. Absurge in crowd control. Flop in crowd control. Both teams in trouble here at 27% dampening.
Absurge just doesn't go out of mana. He's actually regenerating mana. Evasion drops out from Peekaboo. They're looking to get aggressive on Baby Cakes. He's got not a single defensive cooldown. Flop has no mana left. They need just one more push. The move can actually do it. Baby Cakes is going to be in so much trouble. WizK holds on with the dispersion, but there's no healing left. He has the Void Shift. That is the last line of defense. He has the Trinket. He has the Void Shift. Peekaboo has to take Baby Cakes down. Shadow Step Kick comes in. Baby Cakes falls. The move is on fire.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think you don't want to push WizK over. I think you want to push Absurge over. Just tunnel the Shaman. I feel like as Windwalker DK, you just pick a small map and then you run at the Shaman the entirety of the game and you're going to kill him. And I think they should have done the same thing in game number 1, actually. I felt like I was a little bit critical of them in game number 1, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, right? They're almost trying to dampen. They're choosing big maps. They're choosing defensive strategies, defensive Azerite traits, etc. And the move just seems to be better at that. One other thing I wanted to throw to you, Ben, as we kick off this game is that Absol's actually running the Crucible Flame as his major essence, which I know you were a big fan of yesterday when we were playing.
Oh yeah, it's super fun. I mean, for Upsurge, he's actually been using it defensively. Obviously, as a damage dealer, I like to use it to do damage, but it does have the added utility that you can use it as a heal. And I mean, when Upsurge is completely out of mana, I actually wonder if that heal is affected by the Shaman Mastery. That would be really
probably
interesting. So you stack it up. When WizK gets low, you use the Crucible Flame, you get the additional healing from the Shaman Mastery, and that actually seems like really good synergy. And I think that's one of the cool things about the patch so far is these players still are figuring out these essences, trying out different essences at different situations, at different matchups. And I know myself, I've personally been really enjoying it, and it's really fun to watch these players kind of experiment.
Big push on Baby Cakes, but Grayson is there to hold his hand with the anti-magic zone placed down, thwarting away Peekaboo's Vendetta push. Solid defense from Getchur Boy Dog, but they're playing Windwalker DK. I don't care about your defense on Windwalker DK. Target the Shaman and run at the Shaman. I feel like this is a strategy that we haven't seen from Getchur Boy Dog at all. Not even attempted, not even in the slightest. Like here, for example, would be a good time. Death Grip the Shaman in, stun him, go after him a little bit. This is just, to me, this is not the way that you should be playing the Windwalker Death Knight in the current matchup with the way that Shaman is, but maybe it works for them. It looks like they're putting a little bit more damage into Peekaboo this time around as opposed to allocating all of it onto WizK, but if I was Upsurge playing Shaman right now, I would be so happy that I'm not being targeted, sitting max range, bombing in healing waves. It seems like it would be a lot less stressful for him to be in this situation than it would otherwise if he was the target. Touch of Death currently available. They could make a play. Peekaboo, actually the main focus point right now for Getchur Boy Dog. They've changed their strategy entirely. They've abandoned WizK as a target. I think prior to Dampening, that makes a lot of sense. The Shadow Priest support going to be quite a lot of healing, whereas the Assassination Rogue has some limited healing from the Crimson Vial every 30 seconds. And it seems to me that he is a little bit more vulnerable prior to Dampening, but still, there's a Shaman. I know, why are they not targeting him at any point? Just Death Grip, leg sweep, run at the Shaman. As I say that, Baby Cakes is trying to switch, gets stunned up as he was overextended, but Flop is there to support.
Yeah, good damage coming in from actually the move. I mean, it just seems like Baby Cakes, Grayson, and Flop, they're under so much pressure in this matchup, and I think it's interesting what Adrian was saying in the pregame, how Flop is just playing so defensive. I mean, I really don't feel like he needs the Guardian affinity. I think being able to re-stealth, assist your team with extra stuns, it allows you to get out more crowd control, a lot of damage potential. Most of the Windwalker Death Knights that we see, they have very aggressive Druids in a lot of matchups, and I think that extra damage is really what pushes it over the edge. But Baby Cakes almost just goes down. Nice mind control coming in from WizK. Baby Cakes, he has his Touch of Karma rolling. Flop has to trinket out. Baby Cakes trades out the Fortifying Brew as well. That was such a nice offensive push coming in from the move, and as a result, Baby Cakes, he's still in a lot of trouble. It is not over yet. Anti-Magic Zone drops out by Grayson. Here comes a full kidney shot, and you can bet WizK, he's just mashing the Dispels these games, and that's one of the reasons why Flop goes out of mana so quickly. WizK just gets up his dots, and he can just use Dispel Magic over and over and over, and it makes it a nightmare for a Druid to heal through some of this pressure. Baby Cakes just getting bursted down, mind controlled at low health. Such a nice job by WizK. I'm sure we're going to have to look at that during the replay.
And they beat Resurgent in the same matchup last week. We'll see if they can do it against M2KC, who, in my opinion, are, you know, a little bit better at this comp.
Yeah, and actually it was a 3-0 victory for Cloud9 on Wednesday against Resurgent. Very impressive stuff coming in from Cloud9. If they can keep that up, it'll be absolutely fantastic. But M2KC, we know, is a different beast on this RM Paladin.
Yeah, I mean, who are they going to go after in this matchup? Jamili getting early crowd control over on his nuts. It seems like when they play this matchup out, from what I've seen in the offline games, they really like to go after the Mage. Wealthy Man's going to be the main focal point. Of course, if he was not targeted down, he would just get so much control out in the matchup. So I like the strategy from M2KC, being very aggressive. Jamili moving forward, looking for crowd control. Snuts vanishing, making sure to deny Jamili on that initial polymorph with the Growth Silence. I like the plays. Snuts, Cloud9, we have to just stabilize in the opener. If M2KC develop too much momentum, that's when things fall apart. But with the way Cloud9's playing it right now, they've really kind of weathered the storm, and there's a lot of pressure on Jamili.
Well, this might get awkward. Jamili holds on. Temporal Shield goes off, but still burning down quickly in terms of health. RubCub is struggling to recover through this attack from Cloud9. Perhaps it was just a matter of time for Cloud9 to figure out the Rogue Mage Paladin composition. Rogue Mage Druid is looking solid, but here comes a big push from Roasties, trying to battle back for M2KC in game one. Can they push forward and get the ice block? No, but at least the Gladiator safeguard from Jamili, or from Wealthy Man, is out of the way. Cubsy's mana not in a good position as well, so M2KC are still staying in the fight as a result of their consistent pressure, but Cloud9 at any moment could turn this game on a dime with some triple crowd control.
Yep, and they're going to have to see if they can get it. Jamili in a kidney shot, still a lot of pressure. Keep in mind, there is no cauterize for Jamili. He's in trouble. They make an all-in attempt over onto Cubsy. Can they keep him alive? What is Cubsy going to do? There's no trinket. Barskin trades out. He's in a Hammer of Justice. Do Jamili and Roasties have the damage? Cubsy with a nice dispel on that Gladiator's Maledict is able to escape and get behind the pillar, and he should be able to easily recover from that. But now, keep in mind, if Jamili can reset his combustion, there's an attempt. But Cloud9, they're looking to close out the game. Jamili forced into his ice block, but still, this is on a razor's edge. Cloud9 could easily fall in the next attempt if M2KC can make a great offensive push.
All right, let's see if they can get it done here. Jamili cycloned at low health. This is making it awkward for RubCub, but he's trying to line up some heals immediately afterwards. Light of the Martyr, very effective against Mage as a Paladin, as you're going to be polymorphed often and healed back to full despite all the damage you take from using Light of the Martyr. Cubsy being swapped to again. Jamili trying to get control of Snuts and move in, but Wealthy Man stops him, so it's just RubCub and Roasties on Cubsy. Is that going to be enough damage? Jamili tries to sneak in a Meteor, but Cubsy dodges it slightly to the right, now jumping away to safety. Beautiful save by Wealthy Man, holding Jamili in midfield, only allowing 2 members of M2KC to go at Cubsy at one time during that stun was critical.
Yep, this can be a difficult position to be in as the Fire Mage, especially with the rogue controlling you, such as Snuts. When Snuts is in control, that's when Wealthy Man just goes for the polymorphs, and Jamili hasn't been able to get too much done. I mean, there's been no crowd control onto Cubsy. Every time they go for Cubsy, Jamili's in a kidney shot or he's in a polymorph, and he can't really assist in damage. And Cloud9, they've really been in control for most of this matchup. M2KC, what are they going to do? Roasties vanishes out. He's looking for a sap on Cubsy. Unable to find it, he throws on the blind, but Roasties just sort of baiting him. He's actually just going to go for a re-stealth, finding the sap, and he might just keep him in place. No, actually going for Wealthy Man as they look to make an offensive push. M2KC, they need to start getting ice blocks out of the way if they want to take down Wealthy Man. He's got a lead 2-0 over Jamili at this point. Wealthy Man doing a great job defensively, looking for polymorphs. Jamili actually sneaks in a polymorph on Cubsy, and this certainly will be the first ice block from Wealthy Man. Cubsy, he actually broke out of the polymorph. It was on diminishing return, so I guess it was a short polymorph, and as a result, Cubsy will keep Wealthy Man alive.
It's interesting how the Kleptomania play has sort of shifted with the Gladiator Safeguard. Mage is now prioritizing stripping off the Gladiator Safeguard when it procs to try and burst through for a surprise kill, as opposed to using it on the overgrowth of the Restoration Druid and trying to make sure that you've got all of the heal over time effects in the game. It's definitely shifted the way that the mages are playing with the spell steal. We're roughly 30 seconds away from Dampening. Mana is even. Cooldown lead, though, significantly in favor of Cloud9. Crowd control secured. Good position for Cloud9 here. Roasty smokes bombs to avoid being cycloned, then moves in but walks out. Now cycloned away. RubCub tried to hammer it, but he wasn't able to get it in time. If they get this, they land the Ring of Frost. There's potential. Combustion popped. They need to drop Wealthy Man in just a matter of seconds. They do manage to get his first ice block. Some of the defense is finally falling for Cloud9 as M2KC find their footing.
Yep, nicely done by M2KC, really battling their way back in this match, and mana could be a factor. I mean, Cubsy's mana is not doing great. RubCub has a little bit of a lead, and I think moving forward, it's going to be easier for RubCub to sustain with no mana. Full Cyclone on Roasties, blind on RubCub. What is Snuts trying to set up? Kidney shot onto Jamili. He's got no cauterize. He's got no ice block for another minute, but RubCub with the Avenger Crusader easily keeps him alive. Snuts trying to develop pressure, trying to develop momentum, but RubCub's heals are just so powerful. Cubsy actually trying to sneak away for a drink, unable to find it. RubCub charging in, looking for the Hammer of Justice, gets denied. Nicely done by Wealthy Man. Now it's Jamili, who could easily be on the back foot.
Yeah, he's going to use Temporal Shield, absorb some of this damage right before being stunned, heal back a bit of it, but now that shield is gone, Snuts is going to sink his teeth in He needs to try and get this sacrifice. Actually, no sacrifice available. This is dire straits for M2KC. There is no significant outs for 21 seconds roughly. So if they can push through for a kill, this is their time. This is their moment. Can Cloud9 pull it off? Cubsy has managed to regenerate mana amidst all of the chaos. That's allowing his team to play for an extended match. There's a smoke bomb, 8 seconds away, 7 seconds away, 5 seconds away. Can Snuts stay on target? 3 seconds away, 2 seconds away, 1 second. Now Jamili has that out with the ice block, although he may need to press it almost immediately after it becoming available. Divine Favor sneaks in, stabilizing Jamili for now. Such a close call for M2KC. Jamili manages to stall with polymorphs on Snuts, now switching over onto Wealthy Man, but the stun connects regardless, and despite their best efforts, Ice Block will be forced, and Cloud9 maintain their lead.
Yep, nicely done by Cloud9. There's just such good control of this matchup. I mean, this really seems like Cloud9 is playing at a really high level, and maybe the matchup isn't as one-sided as we thought when it is a super good Rogue Mage Druid playing head-to-head against the Rogue Mage Paladin. Cubsy now and a kidney shot, good damage coming in. He trades out the Bark Skin, he trades out the Iron Bark. There's still a good offensive push here available for M2KC. Cubsy's really vulnerable. There's good control coming in. Jamili on the back foot, taking quite a bit of damage. In desperation, polymorphing Snuts as often as he can. Now still looking to take down Cubsy. Roasties, if he can connect, Cubsy can be in a lot of trouble. This is the perfect situation for M2KC. Cubsy, there's no trinket, there's no bark skin. They have to land a stun. Roasties with Vendetta could essentially solo Cubsy with just a little bit of extra damage from RubCub. We'll have to see what they can get done.
All right, Vendetta's pop. This is going to be a lot of damage onto Jamili. What's he going to do? Snuts is all over him. Is he on polymorph diminishing return? Doesn't look like it. Snuts is trying to dodge polymorphs, gets a re-stealth with the vanish, goes for a big power play. RubCub needs some big heals right now, but his Divine Favor could be crowd controlled. It does! Beautifully done by Wealthy Man, stealing that big heal and interrupting them. Now Jamili on the ropes is likely to fall, holding on by a thread in desperation, trying to take Snuts out of the fight with polymorph, but despite his best efforts, I'm so surprised that Jamili is even still alive. Another full polymorph over onto RubCub. Jamili trying to retreat. Snuts stuns him up, staying on the outskirts of that Ring of Frost. Jamili just holding on with nothing left. Cauterized proxies on the run. Snuts trying to just throw knives at him to find the kill. Shadow stepping in for an Envenom Flurry connects from Wealthy Man, and Cloud9 will close it out. RubCub totally tapped on mana.
All of that stuff, but first we have to get through this one. Cloud9 against M2KC, the defending spring champions here, going up against the team that won the last cup and has looked fantastic in 8.2. This Rogue Mage back and forth is always a pleasure to see, Sid.
All right, let's see if they can get it done here on Hook Point. A good map for an all-in, a good map against a Restoration Druid, and that's exactly what M2KC are looking to do early on, although they're not finding too much. Only a Bark Skin in the first assault. Well, it wasn't Combustion or Vendetta, so M2KC are holding some big power spells in their back pocket for another opportunity later on. If they can get Cubsy's Trinket with Blind. Cubsy cannot trinket this. If he trinkets this, he dies. Okay, he trinketed it. He is dead in the next stun. If M2KC go all in, Ice Block, Crowd Control, use Cloak Shadow's Evasion aggressively, I think it's almost impossible that Cubsy survives this. M2KC need to get ready for that swap to him as soon as possible. They need Hammer of Justice and Kidney Shots. They probably need Vanish Cheap Shot as well. But if they use all of these stuns in succession in about the next 20 seconds, they can easily take Cubsy out. Cubsy knows that he's the target. He's getting ready for it. He stuns Roasties. I'm very surprised to not just see maybe even an aggressive trinket there. Cubsy knows he needs to buy time for 10 more seconds. Very surprised to not see M2KC just go all in there. Now they're overextended and RubCub is being punished.
Yeah, RubCub taking quite a bit of damage. Cubsy playing this game out beautifully, to be honest. I mean, he has his Bark Skin now. Iron Bark's going to be available. I think he still has his Gladiator Safeguard, so there's a lot of defense available. The strategy M2KC is doing is super predictable. So if Cubsy's heads up like that, he managed to get a nice little bash on Roasties, and that bought him enough time to escape. Now they're actually swapping over to Wealthy Man, who trades out his Ice Block. This is what we want to see from M2KC. If they can't go after Cubsy, they can go after Wealthy Man, they can go after Snuts. They have to keep Cubsy guessing. He can't just be allowed to sit in bear form, anticipating a swap to himself forever. They need to start creating openings, and I like that M2KC has started to do that in this match.
All right, let's see if they can mix it up here. I still feel like they had the formula to just get the kill on Cubsy if they had gone all out. Although going all out and then being put on match point, perhaps there's some stress there. They didn't want to commit it too aggressively. RubCub's interrupted. That means trouble for Jamili, even though Cubsy's in a Dragon's Breath. Which Mage is going to get raced down first? Wealthy Man already down in Ice Block. Now we see Iron Bark from Cubsy. Lots of defense force on the side of Cloud9. Jamili cycloned on his Temporal Shield. Well timed by Cubsy, denying its healing. Jamili still hovers on low health. Rubcub's in a blind. If he has to use Divine Shield here or Ice Block, they're going to fall behind heavily on cooldowns. Big Icy Veins proc from Wealthy Man. Going to be dealing huge damage, netting them an Ice Block.
Yep, Jamili in the Ice Block. Rubcub has to top him off. They're not out of it yet. If they get Divine Shield, this is going to be massive, but I don't think they're going to be able to. Vengeing Crusader comes in from Rubcub and manages to find some huge heals on the side of Jamili. Now big all-in on Cubsy. He is not messing around. He trinkets out into a Hammer of Justice, and this is the all-in we're talking about. Can they take Cubsy down? Jamili, does he have the Kleptomania? Cubsy trying to escape. He's used Barkskin, Iron Bark, Trinket, Safeguard, everything. And M2KC might be able to just push through and take him down. And this is the advantage that Zico alluded to. As the Rogue Cubsy, if he gets caught out of form, just one, even if he has his trinket available, they can just delete him. So this bigger map going to make it a lot more difficult for them to do so. Now, Sid, what do you want to see Cloud9 do in this match?
I want to see Cloud9 just basically play it the way they played game number 1. Just kind of play it calm, cool, and collected, weather through the cooldown slowly but surely, and try to not expose yourselves. Honestly, the previous map, it just made it so difficult for Cubsy. On a larger map like this, they're going to be able to start it out a little bit better. Jamili is also playing the greater Pyroblast build this time around, so they could potentially even go for Wealthy Man. As I say that, they're going for a big swap here onto Cubsy.
Yep, Cubsy taking quite a bit of damage. It's a kidney shot, it's a Barkskin, it's an Iron Bark. What is Cubsy going to do? He's trying to escape. Shadowmend on the Gladiator's Maledict. Safeguard procs, Iron Bark should be enough. And Cubsy does survive. He held on to his trinket, he played it greedy. There's really good peels there by Wealthy Man. He managed to polymorph Jamili, polymorph his trinket, Kleptomania spell steal, his combustion, and because of that, Jamili's damage was really limited. Nicely done by Wealthy Man. That's what we have to see from Wealthy Man in order for Cubsy to survive these setups.
Yeah, Wealthy Man is kind of the goalkeeper here of the defense on Cloud9. It's gonna be on his shoulders to keep Cubsy alive in this matchup. And now Snuts caught up in using his kidney shot here onto Jamili. We see a Kleptomania as well from Wealthy Man here, trying to get some counter pressure going, but we need some crowd control over onto Rubcub. Not gonna be found for now. His Divine Favor is going to be up very, very soon, and he should be able to top off Jamili. The Safeguard does proc, and now a lot of damage here over onto Cubsy. Another kidney shot, Hammer of Justice combo. Here's the Meteor as well, but Snuts is there to soak it. Is it going to be enough though?
No
Cubsy
way!
Down.
It could easily just fall. Once again, Cubsy barely holding on. That setup, that wasn't any cooldowns from M2KC. Except, I guess, the Vanish. Rossi was able to get the Vanish off. It was actually a Shadow Meld re-stealth in order to get another cheap shot into a Growth Silence. And every single one of these setups is so devastating for Cubsy in this match. Jamili with a greater Pyroblast, although he hasn't got any of them off, there's been no damage from it so far. If he can get it off, that maybe is the consistent damage that they needed in the matchup to actually start pressuring down Wealthy Man. So I'm not necessarily, I don't disagree with that decision. I think if they are going to go after Mage a little bit more, they can get the greater Power Blast off. They can even get focused greater Power Blast off on Snuts and maybe put a kidney shot on him with a smoke bomb. Those can be strategies we see implemented by M2KC to start just generating a little bit more pressure. Because right now, Cubsy, he's been the only target in the match. He's sitting 100 yards away from Jamili right now. He knows if they get on top of him, he could die at any moment. So he's just positioning himself very far away. And this is what I want to see from M2KC, really start pressuring a secondary target.
Yeah, I would like that secondary target to be Snuts, though, because that really forces the issue here on Cloud9. And Snuts also doesn't have his Cloak of Shadows. Now Jamili caught up in the kidney shot. They're going to get Blessing of Protection. Now Cubsy is actually in a sap. This could be a big moment here where they can actually go for Cubsy. And when they see a polymorph over onto Snuts, not going to happen. Instead, we're going to see a continued CC chain here. Wealthy Man, Safeguard is going to proc, Meteor is going to connect, but it's not going to be enough there, unfortunately, for the M2KC team to bank themselves an Ice Block.
Yeah, and look, Rubcub, he's in crowd control. Jamili getting low, forced into his Ice Block. Cloud9 slowly but surely getting control of this game, and I have to agree with you, Sid. I feel like they need to start going after Snuts in the matchup. I think the greater Power Blast really creates windows of opportunity. If Jamili can get one on Snuts and they land a kidney shot, I feel like it's going to be every cooldown from Snuts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Snuts was caught up in a polymorph literally behind the pillar when Cubsy was, in stealth on the other side. And Cubsy, to his credit, has been playing this phenomenally. Cubsy been staying away so long that he actually has his trinket back up, his bark skin, and now we could potentially see Cubsy move in a little bit, get a couple of cyclones here, and be a little bit more active in the game now that he has those defensives to work with. I really want to see Mew Mew Kitty Cats go after Snuts a lot more, polymorph him behind the pillar when Cubsy is super far away, and then that way you force Cubsy to move forward and dispel. That gives Roasty an opportunity to actually kidney shot Cubsy and force out all of his cooldowns again, or it gives you an opportunity to get a greater power blast over onto Snuts, and then you can kidney shot Snuts, smoke bomb him, get his trinket out of the way, start withering down some of those defensives, and then if you blind Cubsy, you can also force his trinket that way. Now Roast is caught up in the kidney shot here, has to trinket out. Rubcup still in a polymorph, and Roast is gonna reverse that kidney shot over onto Snuts. This is what we like to see.
Yeah, we do like to see this. Snuts taking a little bit of damage. Finally, Jamili actually playing so defensive. Lands a greater power blast on Snuts. Unfortunately, gets healed up quite easily. Still decent pressure here. Cubsy got caught into a Hammer of Justice. Rubcub risked it all. He crossed the map, got the Hammer of Justice onto Cubsy. Managed to escape without getting caught into a polymorph. Nicely done. But unfortunately, Jamili wasn't able to follow it up. So there was no additional crowd control. And as a result, that Hammer of Justice isn't enough for Snuts to be forced to use any sort of defensive cooldowns. Now Jamili under fire, gets counterspelled. Now they're actually going back for Cubsy. Are they going to be able to get any damage rolling? Jamili lands the Gladiator's Maledict. Cubsy responds with the Bark Skin. He's not overreacting, because he has to hold on to these cooldowns. He needs to always have something that he can work with. And I have to say, Cubsy has been playing this match quite well in order to survive.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to survive, and he's been positioning very, very well, but this is also the largest map in the pool. I think on this map, it could be a little bit more difficult to execute the strategy for Mew Mew Kitty Cats, but I think they should play the range game, honestly. Jamili should go behind that pillar right there, drag Snuts all the way behind it, have Roasty sit on Wealthy Man, and if Snuts ever goes behind that pillar, just Dragon Breath, sheep him, and then after that, you're going to have an opportunity to Hammer of Justice Cubsy, because he's the one who's going to actually have to move over there close to you. So instead of chasing over to Cubsy, you just make Cubsy come to you by crowd controlling Snuts and threatening him with that greater Pyroblast. That's what M2KC has to do to kind of diffuse this checkmate situation that Cloud9 currently has. I don't think Wealthy Man is ever going to go down, and these telegraphed swaps when they're crossing the map just like this all the way, I don't think they're going to actually bank too many cooldowns, because Wealthy Man is so quick to break that up. Polymorphing Rubcub here, making sure that Rubcub is not going to be able to land on Hammer of Justice. Cubsy caught up in the blind, going to be able to sit that comfortably because Snuts is not the target. And Jamili, he's going to get shut down as well because he has to cross such a large distance to get that Ring of Frost. It's just not going to bank them any defensives here from Wealthy Man. Cubsy should have an easy time healing this up.
Yep, Wealthy Man is going to be able to survive. Cyclone over on Roasties. Good control coming in from Cloud9. Once again, Jamili, Rubcub, they're on the retreat, looking for a greater Pyroblast on Snuts. Snuts manages to avoid it, but this is what we want to see. When we get polymorph on Snuts, they need to get the greater power blast on the Snuts and try to set up a kill that way. They're just not really building too much momentum right now onto Wealthy Man. Jamili sneaks one greater power blast onto Cubsy. That could have been devastating if Roasties could land a kidney shot, but once again, Cubsy's positioned so far away in the matchup that it just becomes really difficult. And you have to kind of wonder right now, what is M2KC playing for? They're just kind of lobbing out greater power blast. Cubsy's across the map. He's been able to heal through all of this damage, and I feel like eventually it's going to be easy for Wealthy Man to get, you know, crowd control on Rubcub by himself, whereas Cubsy, he's not really threatened by any sort of crowd control unless you see Rubcub push in. One greater power blast lands onto Wealthy Man, and easily Cubsy, he deals with it. Rubcub's behind on mana. Cloud9's looking really good. This large map is paying dividends. We really need to see M2KC go after the Rogue, or maybe they know at some point in Dampening they can eventually take Wealthy Man down. I'm just not sold on that yet.
Well, Snuts actually used his Vanish there offensively as well. Like, right here, they don't need to polymorph Snuts there. Instead, have Rubcub go behind the pillar, have Jamili go behind the pillar, and then just Dragon's Breath sheep him. There, Dragon's Breath, full sheep. Now cast a greater Power Blast on Snuts. Unfortunately, it's DR'd because, you know, he polymorphed him in open line of sight where Cubsy can just easily reach a dispel from very far away. And here, even with this Nova, if you connect one greater Power Blast onto Snuts behind that pillar, Roasties goes in with a kidney shot, or Rubcub gets a Hammer of Justice. I guarantee you that's going to be Snuts' trinket. That's going to be Cubsy as well, having to move forward. And you have two stuns. You can Hammer of Justice Snuts and then step kidney shot Cubsy as well, or you can step blind Cubsy in that situation when you actually have momentum. And those are the kind of CC chains you're going to be able to capitalize on. And Snuts, once again, just getting sheep, getting redispelled. Now he can push behind the pillar. There's no threat ever of him actually dying here. So he's just going to be able to go in here, keep withering down Rubcub's mana, keep getting those cooldowns used, and Jamili's just going to be forced to tank it here Now, nice temporal shield there by Jamili, preemptively on that kidney shot, should be able to stabilize, but again, there's just no pressure onto Wealthy Man. RMPal is the comp that is on a timer. They have a lot more deadly setups, but they need to actually force something with them, because if Cloud9 can just play the slow game, well, we saw how game 1 went, they will win that way.
Yep. And things are looking good for Cloud9 in this matchup. We're at 26% dampening. I really wonder how long these healers can hold on. Cubsy's been able to free drink in this matchup. Snuts getting swapped to. I mean, actually, Cubsy was able to dispel him, and Snuts with a feint able to stabilize, but we need to see those setups consistently. And if Roasties can actually come back and be the one to land the kidney shot on a setup like that, then all of a sudden Snuts is in a world of pain. Roasties, of course, with the smoke bomb, could easily take Snuts down. Jamili now looking for a greater power blast, gets interrupted by a Wealthy Man. Jamili responds immediately with a polymorph onto Wealthy Man. Bit of a little mini game going on here. Jamili just trying to consistently land these greater power blasts in the matchup. There's a smoke bomb. Snuts trinkets out immediately, vanishes off as well. And this is the kind of defensive cooldowns they can really start forcing out, but it might be too little too late. Look at Rubcub, Sid. His health is low, his mana is low. What is he gonna do?
I don't know, Van. Honestly, Rubcub, he has a world of trouble ahead of him now, getting caught up in that full blind on his Avenging Crusader. Is he going to sit it? It looks to be the case. Jamili now caught up in that kidney shot. Is he going to be able to survive? It looks to be the case now. Jamili getting that Blessing of Protection. Snuts in a world of trouble here. And once again, the kidney shot connects. Rubcub is pushing forward for that Hammer of Justice. Cubsy, preemptive Ironbark, beautifully done. And Jamili is going for the Ring of Frost. Nice kick there by Snuts. Honestly, Cloud9 are just playing so well in this matchup right now, not giving any edges here. Jamili now caught up in the smoke bomb. Snuts looking to reverse the pressure. Cubsy as well here, BMing a little bit with that Moonkin affinity, throwing out a couple of Lunar Strikes. Very, very nicely done. They're going to bank themselves a nice block.
Yeah, Jamili, that was Cauterize also. Cauterize overlapped with Ice Block. Rubcub, the only real defense he has is the Greater Sacrifice and the Divine Shield. I mean, those are big defensives, but there's not too much left for M2KC to really work with. We are at 36% dampening. Wealthy Man, Cubsy, they're pushing in. They're getting aggressive, maybe overconfident. I mean, we've seen what they've been able to do to Cubsy in the past. I feel like they should just go after Cubsy all in. Just press all your buttons on him, see what happens, because right now they have no momentum on anyone else. Snuts in a kidney shot right now, but with the Relentless, with no crowd control, and Cubsy should be able to easily survive. We need to see them start forcing stuff from Cubsy. Hammer of Justice comes in. There's no kidney shot to follow it up, so Cubsy's going to be feeling quite healthy, but now with no trinket, no bark skin, Jamili has combustion. Cubsy cannot afford to play that aggressive again.
And Snuts has no defensive cooldowns. Cubsy has no defensive cooldowns. This is the situation you want to be in as the Mew Mew Kitty Cats. Just drag Snuts now behind his pillar, and you can threaten to kill him. Cubsy's going to have to be in Ironbark range, and if he's behind the pillar, nicely positioned here by Jamili. Nova, not going to be able to land that Nova. Maybe didn't have it just yet. Goes for the polymorph, gets Shadow Step, kicks Nuts. Very, very aware here of the situation. Looks to perhaps kidney shot that Greater Power Blast. No, Wealthy Man going to come in with the counter spell. And now Roasties has the situation, but it's not going to be enough there. Jamili is going to fall.
And this is what the series is all about. Cloud9 one game away from seeing off M2KC, who have been their kryptonite in patch 8.2.
Yeah, let's see what Cloud9 can do. They have to play a solid game of shutting down Jamili. That's what it is all about. Wealthy Man, when Snuts can't shut him down with the kidney shot, we need to see polymorphs coming in. Cubsy immediately into the kidney shot. Do they have the damage? Unfortunately, Jamili just can't get there. There's just no follow-up damage. Cubsy's going to be completely fine through that opener, and that's one of the big problems. We need to see M2KC in a coordinated assault, but Jamili just is rarely able to find the damage. If he can get there, Cubsy just falls down, but unfortunately, in this matchup, it's been very difficult.
All right, here we go in game number 4. Cloud9 in the lead on match point. M2KC looking to exploit the smaller map and likely find kills onto Cubsy or Snuts. Let's see if they can set it up here. Right now they're on the back foot trying to just stay alive. Rubcub's finally out of the polymorphs though, now in a cheap shot. Smoke bomb gets dropped. Big play here by Snuts to try and net the Cauterize from Jamili. They spell steal off the Gladiator Safeguard. Very big pressure point there for Jamili, and Rubcub doesn't trust it. He's going to use the ultimate sacrifice, redirect some of that damage, which could have been lethal, to himself instead. Icy Vein still available for Wealthy Man, of which he can pull out at any point to enhance his damage, and that's going to be the threat that Jamili needs to get ready for.
Yeah, Cubsy's healing is just so high in this matchup. Wealthy Man really has not been threatened much. He's He's looking like a tank on that Frost Mage right now. Hammer of Justice on Cubsy into a sap. Nicely done. Nicely done by M2KC. They need to start getting cooldowns from Wealthy Man. Temporal Shield comes in. Actually spell steals it off from Jamili. Wealthy Man getting a little bit low. Keep in mind, he doesn't have the safety net of that cauterize effect like Jamili. If he gets low, it has to be his ice block. He's greeting it so hard. Ironbar comes in. There's an interrupt. Wealthy Man still in defiance does not want to give them an ice block. Oh my goodness gracious, that has to be so frustrating for M2KC. Wealthy Man holds on by a thread, but it pays off, and now he's in a situation where once again, he's got both of his ice blocks, and he's just looking bulletproof against M2KC.
Yeah, right now, Cloud9 look good. Now Polymorph onto Roasties into a Cyclone. He's been crowd controlled for an extended period of time as Cloud9 look to implement the chain now onto Rubcub with a full Cyclone secured. Jamili is on the run. I feel like he's constantly on the run this entire series. Jamili is getting a lot of cardio in today, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it out alive on match point. They're falling further and further behind. If at any point Cubsy sneaks away, manages to drink and regenerate mana, that's certainly going to be curtains for M2KC. We would like to see a swap to Cubsy as soon as possible, but with where he's positioned, it's almost impossible. Rubcub in a blind, big push here from Cloud9. Running that Relentless means that Rubcub can't escape it, but they aren't able to get a Sap or a Polymorph. Blind not nearly as threatening without that extra 8 seconds from a Sap or Polymorph. Rubcub charges across midfield to try and crowd control Cubsy. Cubsy anticipates Ironbark preemptive on the stun. This should make Wealthy Man a lot more durable and allow him to play maybe more aggressive despite the big push here from M2KC. But now Ironbark is faded, Temporal Shield is over. The Ring of Frost is faded. 1 second left on Dragon's Breath. They managed to do it. Ice block on 1%. Wealthy Man holding on to it until the absolute final second, but they'll stay alive.
That's so risky. I just... Wealthy Man could easily go down without blocking in a situation like that, but he has managed to greet it so far. He still has 1 ice block left. Cloud9, they're in a prime position. Jamili has not been, although there's been really good pressure coming in from Cloud9 onto M2KC, Jamili has been able to hold on to his ice blocks. Rubcub doing a really good job rotating through his defensive cooldowns, and on this smaller map, it has been difficult for Wealthy Man to kite through a lot of this matchup. Full Hammer of Justice on Cubsy. Roasty's looking for a sap, manages to find it. This could be the second ice block. He might even be on hypothermia. Cubsy forced to trinket out. And now there's an opportunity for Roasties. I believe he has a full blind available for Cubsy. If he can land that blind, there it is. Wealthy Man gets interrupted. Do they have the damage? Temporal Shield looking to trade out. Do they have follow-up CC? They need something onto Cubsy. Wealthy Man holds on through the full blind. Jamili held on to his combustion. I feel like that had to be a little bit greedy. I'm not sure if he didn't have it available for that moment, but that would have easily been the ice block of Wealthy Man. Now, unfortunately, Wealthy Man able to easily recover, and that sort of window of opportunity they had with that full blind has been lost.
Yeah, window of opportunity is now over. This is not good for M2KC. They're on match point. Cloud9 appear to have figured out the Rogue Mage Paladin composition, having defeated Resurgent, who beat them in the past, and now putting M2KC on match points. And perhaps Cloud9 have returned to be the kings of North America, bringing Snuts off the bench for the Rogue Mage Druid. Now with all 4 members of Cloud9 implemented, the Elite 4 Cloud9 may just be unbeatable. And I was saying that this bracket was looking good for Method Orange to dodge Cloud9. It's not looking to be good to dodge Cloud9. If Cloud9 can best M2KC, that is going to be very bad news for Method Orange. Should they be even able to beat the boys? There is a high level of competition currently in North America between all of the teams, with the 3-way tie in both Europe and North America. And I'm very curious if Method Orange can recover the points and be able to maintain for the rest of the season.
Been incentivized to lose it, but we are able to head back into the game. The game was still going, guys. The game was still going. I think our observers just had a little client issue, so we had to hop out of that one. But as you can see, Cubsy was blown up, most likely, by M2KC, which absolutely fantastically, and may the best team win as we go into the last map.
Yeah, and keep in mind, the loser of this game will go to the lower bracket to play against Resurgent. That's Colo's team. It'll be interesting to see who ends up falling in this matchup. I mean, right now we're tied up 2-2 apiece. M2KC, Cloud9. Obviously really important for both these teams to still develop as many points as possible, but Cloud9 already have their position at BlizzCon secure. They did win the spring finals, and that automatically qualified them to the grand finals later on this year. M2KC, it's a different story. They have to win this matchup. They need to get as many points as possible. They have to break into that top 4, and beating Cloud9 right now would just be such an important part for them.
You couldn't ask for this series to go any other way, all the way to game number 5. Spring finalists, Cloud9, M2KC, recent cup winners, going head-to-head, slugging it out here on Ashamane's fall. Maybe going to be Cubsy's fall if M2KC can stay on target. They've already burned through Barkskin and Iron Bark, 2 major defenses of the Restoration Druid, and it looks like Roasties has had enough of this series. He's just going to be staying on target. Cubsy finally able to get some crowd control onto Roasties with a bash, support by Wealthy Man with the polymorph, and now able to recover. Rubcub interrupted, but with Avenging Crusader up, it's unlikely to result in too much. I'm curious to see if we see Jamili pull Snuts back and crowd control him to bait Cubsy to move in, or if M2KC keep up the aggression. It looks like they want to keep up the aggression.
Ooh.
Hammer of Justice used before the kidney shot. Maybe they're going to crowd control. It seems to be a bit uncertain here from M2KC as far as what they want to do in terms of strategy. They don't have too many cooldowns. Snuts gets blinded. This almost certainly says that M2KC just want to continue tunneling Cubsy, but that push got nothing done.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Right now, Cubsy still under fire. Iron Bark is going to land on him. He's going to go down. Do they have any damage? Right now, Cloud9 has good control of the matchup. There's still a trinket available for Cubsy. There's still a Barskin. Jamili under fire. Needs to find a situation where he can land damage with Roasties. If they can get a stun lock on Cubsy with burst damage from all 3 members, that's when they're going to win the game. Jamili right now having to turn his attention over on Wealthy Man. They realize Cubsy is playing way too defensive. It's going to be really difficult to take him down. They have to start finding openings elsewhere. And Wealthy Man just getting bursted down. Gladiator Safeguard comes in. It's a lot of additional burst damage. And now full Hammer Justice over on the Cubsy. Wealthy Man barely holding on. Forced into his Ice Block just a millisecond before the Temporal Shield fades. That is so unfortunate for Cloud9, but they're still in it. Wealthy Man has an Ice Block left. But M2KC, that's definitely a small victory for them.
Yeah, M2KC showing that they've still got it here in game number 5, despite the map disadvantage. On these maps, it will be quite difficult to attack Cubsy. As long as he is heads up and stays ahead of M2KC, he needs to max range Rubcub at all times. Rubcub sitting through blind, Jamili in trouble, seconds away from Temporal Shield. It will explode, healing him back for a huge amount alongside that Blazing Barrier, but even still, he managed to shred through it. They don't get any follow-up, though. Jamili going to crowd control Snuts for a moment and try to counter-aggress onto Wealthy Man. Wealthy Man responds, although overlapped with Cubsy's defense at the same time. Bit of a small error here from Cloud9. Rubcub trying to jump in on top of Cubsy, maybe go for a Hammer of Justice polymorph, and they look to continue to target down Wealthy Man. It appears to be that's what they want to do. Seems like M2KC, they don't really have much of a strategy for the larger maps. I think the strategy of going after Snuts behind a pillar and a polymorph makes a lot of sense. As I say that, though, they do manage to finally secure crowd control on Cubsy and net themselves the second ice block. Perhaps M2KC can win with this strategy if they can stay on top of Cubsy and continue to chain their crowd control. Cubsy's reluctant to use his trinket on this blind. If he uses his trinket along with an ice block, it opens him up to a whole world of pain. He can then become a target. Well, he has to worry about Wealthy Man for the rest of the match, so that was a heads-up play from Cubsy to sit through that, not just immediately trading his trinket.
Yeah, and I did misspeak a little bit earlier on. The loser of this will be playing against the Move, not Resurgent. So, I mean, the Move's got to be watching this match in anticipation. Right now, Jamili getting low. Is he going to be his Ice Block? A lot of burst damage. The Cauterize with the ultimate sacrifice from Rubcub. Jamili getting completely controlled. There's so much burst damage. Rubcub able to hold on to that Ice Block. And now Wealthy Man on the back foot. He has no Ice Blocks left for another 4 minutes. If they can weather the storm, if they can hold on, it's going to be a good situation for Cloud9, but there's just a massive time period where M2KC, they have a really big opening. Cubsy right now, he's got his trinket, he has his Iron Bark. There's a lot of defense available. They have to start slowly working through that, but look at Jamili, he's just forced so defensively right now. Lands the Dragon's Breath into a Polymorph, into a Frost Nova on his Nuts. Cubsy looking to back him up to the spell. Jamili in a Garrote Silence on Rubcub as well. Nicely done by Snuts, landing the interrupt on the Polymorph. Kitty shot on Wealthy Man, but still, Rubcub really struggling to keep Jamili alive in this situation.
Ooh, smoke bomb by Snuts.
Nice.
Could be devastating. The Blazing Barrier absorbing a few hits, but Snuts is still on target. They break the Dragon's Breath. Rubcub uses his Blessing of Protection to remove blind, canceling it so that the opposing mage cannot spell steal it. Wise decision by Rubcub. Snuts realizes that he may be overextending. He got what he wanted, a crowd control breaker from RumCub, so now just pause for a second, wait before making another push. Cloud9 need to prepare for the late game because right now they don't have a lot of mana for it, so perhaps they should start to slow down. Although they may not be allowed that breathing room. M2KC leading the charge with a big amount of damage onto Wealthy Man. RumCub looks to secure a stun. Cubsy's trying to dodge him, ducking around the corner, but unable to escape the Hammer of Justice. Ring of Frost, perfect follow-up. Jamili looking for a potential fake cast here on the Polymorph on Snuts. Looking to get multiple crowd controls. Wealthy Man knows that he's in dire straits. He needs to cast Polymorph on Jamili. He's got no ice blocks left. They stall it, and they manage to get Iron Bark active onto Wealthy Man, although at the cost of Gladiator's Medallion. A big cost for Cloud9. They're on match point. They're desperate. They're going after RumCub to try and make something out of nothing. Big damage in here. Also, Cubsy lobbing in a Starfire, trying to add some extra pressure. Gladiator Safeguard going to proc from RumCub, but in the meantime, M2KC take the opportunity to go after Cubsy in midfield.
Vendetta.
Just really tearing in. Can he escape? He needs to get away from Roasties. Roasties gets Frost Nova'd. If Roasties doesn't connect, then Cubsy will survive. Roasties gets dispelled to the Frost Nova. Roasty can't connect. He's Frost Nova'd again by Wealthy Man. They know he's the biggest threat. They take him out. Both teams are desperate here on match point to get a kill. As we see desperation swaps only 6.5 minutes in. Wealthy Man in trouble again. Cubsy going to activate Iron Bark. That should be enough for him to stabilize, but there's still an ice block for Jamili. There's still a blessing sacrifice for RumCub, and this is not looking good for Cloud9.
No, I just don't agree with that swap on Cubsy. I mean, they found themselves a situation where Wealthy Man finally doesn't have a trinket. He has no temporal shield. He has nothing, basically. They had Smoke Bomb. They had Vendetta, but they decided to go after Cubsy, who still have his Bark Skin. You can't really blame them, as Cubsy has been the main target to fall, but I feel like they've just invested so much time on Wealthy Man, and they finally found themselves in a situation where they had cooldowns to take him down, but unfortunately for them, Wealthy Man, look at this. He has Ice Block. He has 2 Ice Blocks coming up in 15 seconds. That's going to be a massive safety net for Cloud9. Jamili realizing this, he's looking to take him down with the combustion, gets kidney shot by Snuts and denied. Wealthy Man able to stabilize. Cubsy completely tapped on mana at this point in the game. Jamili, of course, still has his Ice Block. Wealthy Man now has 2 Ice Blocks available. He's in a kidney shot. Do M2KC have enough damage to take him down? Doesn't look like it just yet, but Sid, who's going to have the mana lead moving forward?
Well, it's not really too much of a lead, but it's slightly in favor of M2KC. Wealthy Man, though, has got 2 ice blocks again. M2KC failing to find the kill, and now Wealthy Man's defense has reset. That certainly puts Cloud9 back in the fight. But 8 minutes into this match, Wealthy Man anticipates this attack, activates Temporal Shield right before all of the damage, and heals up, but he doesn't trust it. He doesn't trust the Temporal Shield to go off in time and trades an Ice Block to maybe just get aggressive, securing a Polymorph to RumCub. If they can get Jamili's Ice Block, then certainly it puts them back in the game. They managed to crush through the Temporal Shield. If RumCub gets Spell Stolen on this Divine Favor, it could be Curtains. Divine Favor active. He does find the heal, but it's not that big at 21% dampening. Jamili not too comfortable. Wealthy Man, on the other hand, with Iron Bark active, should be sitting pretty comfortable. I would love to see a Smoke Bomb swap to Roasties right now by Snuts. He's got Vendetta, Smoke Bomb, and Toxic Blade, Icy Veins. They have 3 really big, powerful cooldowns on the side of Cloud9, and Roasties has no way to escape crowd control. Yep. They need to try and separate RumCub and Roasties. Cubsy's trying to drink. He got a tad bit of mana, which is better than 0. Jamili, surprisingly, just going to be ice blocking Vendetta off while RumCub was in a Cyclone. It's a bit of a respect trade by Jamili. It wasn't 100% necessary, but as dampening continues to get higher, it is more difficult to recover from big bursts of damage, so he does just stop the damage before it even occurs. Wealthy Man in trouble again with Temporal Shield about to go off. Does he manage to hold on to the second Ice Block? This time he does. RumCub's in a poly. Jamili's in trouble. No block. Sacrifice available. RumCub's going to trade that immediately, but now they're behind on cooldowns with 1 block up on Wealthy Man. Cloud9 are in the lead.
Yeah, Cubsy gets interrupted. They have decent damage on Wealthy Man. There's no Temporal Shield. The Iron Bark is keeping him alive. The Smoke Bomb comes out. Wealthy Man trades out another Ice Block. This is a great situation for M2KC. We're tied up in this series. Loser goes down to the lower bracket. Winner, of course, will be advancing through the upper bracket. This is such a tense moment. Cubsy completely tapped on mana. He's got no trinket. Wealthy Man, no Ice Block. RumCub still has, he doesn't really have anything left to work with. Actually, both teams running on fumes at this point, and Jamili on the back foot. This could be the moment where Cloud9 just closes it out.
Yeah, Cloud9 could easily close this out 3-2 against M2KC. Jamili has absolutely nothing left. Snuts Shadows. He uses Cloak of Shadows to avoid Polymorph to end it. He's going to be connecting here shortly. Cauterize triggers, big Divine Favor heal, but it's not really that big in Dampening. Wealthy Man equally in trouble. Both mages could fall at any moment in this match. Dampening at critical mass, and Jamili falls first. Is Roasty's going to try and play it out? Dispelled out of Polymorph. Rubcub leading the charge. Cubsy still has absolutely 0 mana. There's no Iron Park. If Roasty's can stay on target, although that's a difficult task against the Frost Mage, he's going to use Cloak of Shadows. He knows it's do or die if he wants to pull this off, although I think unlikely with the kidney shot secured. Cubsy and a Hammer of Justice. Wealthman polymorphing Rubcub. Roasty's shadow stepping over, doing everything he can on match point to try and close it out, but Snuts is holding him at bay. Maybe?
What?
Rubcub's doing a lot of damage. He can't heal.
No way!
Don't count him out just yet. Wealthy Man barely holds on. Roasty just wants to finish him, but he just can't. He's so close, but he just can't.
That's heartbreaking for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well,
Let it whimper off.
Opponent ahead of them.
Yeah, and it's important to note that at Cloud9 last week, Method Orange lost with the Windwalker DK, whereas the boys actually won. So the boys, as you said, Ben, they've proven themselves to be a cut above the rest. Method Orange really need to disprove that theory in this game.
This is something we haven't seen in so long. A Windwalker, Death Knight, Mirror, a Cleave showdown. Who is the zuggiest of them all? We will find out here in the upper bracket between the boys and Method Orange. So far, both teams are just feeling fine and dandy to just smack each other in midfield. Sidu gets gripped into the fray. He's going to be looking to escape that blender as soon as possible, but Chun-Li is in hot pursuit. Smexon looking to follow up as well. A lot more pressure thrown onto Sidu so far initially, but now we see the damage resulting onto Chun-Li from Method Orange's efforts focusing him down, pulling at least Iron Park and the Gladiator Safeguard. Bit of a difference in strategy between the teams, with Method Orange focusing more of their attention on Chun-Li and the boys focusing more on Sidu. Mez actually the target for the boys. I'm wondering if there's a grapple weapon here for Chun-Li. If they can use that on Mez, they can deny him from using Death Strike and healing himself up. Certainly an option for Trill as well, but Chun-Li has been the main focus point for Method Orange for some time.
Yeah, Chun-Li, instead of playing the Fortifying Brew, he is playing the grapple weapon. Trill, of course, opting for a little bit more defense with that Fortifying Brew. Big damage coming in from the boys. Trill in a little bit of trouble. Double leg sweep coming in. Trill, I think he actually transcendenced it, so really nice play there by Trill. Avoiding the stun, now can jump back into the fight. Sidu in a little bit of trouble, trades out the Varskin. He's trying to escape. He's trying to get behind the pillar. Trill and Mez doing everything they can to peel for him. They have to keep Chun-Li away, but look, right now Method Orange is way behind. Sidu has his work cut out for him. He has to top himself off. He needs to get some healing onto Trill, but this is a great setup coming in from Method Orange. Where's the damage though? Gorecki, Chun-Li, Smexon, they're all just fine. Method Orange needs to start getting some damage rolling.
Yeah, the grip swaps. We've seen 2 from the boys so far in Sidu and only 1 from Method Orange onto Gorecki. And I think grip, leg sweep swaps, grip asphyxiate swaps are certainly a good way to build momentum against a Restoration Druid. So you're providing a focus point onto 2 targets, and you can make the Druid switch his Life Bloom, which is the most expensive heal for the Restoration Druid. So switching targets is certainly important. We see the boys doing that a lot more frequently. Another swap onto Sidu. Smexon trying to chop him up, but not overextending. As soon as Sidu escapes from the swap, they immediately come back. Gorecki gets gripped in by Method Orange, but they don't stun him. He's able to just easily walk that off.
Yeah, a bit of a misplay there by Method Orange, not able to capitalize on that, but look at mana right now. Method Orange is ahead. Sidu gets gripped in, triple leg sweep coming in once again from the boys. Who are they going after? It's going to be Sidu under fire. Barskin trades out. Sidu does manage to sneak away behind the pillar. Gorecki actually sitting down for a drink during that exchange, and that slight mana lead Sidu had. Actually, no, Gorecki wasn't able to get that much mana back. Still at a relatively even pacing for both these teams. Mez a little bit behind. Sidu have to play catch-up right now. Chun-Li gets bashed up as he's looking to make a push over on Sidu. Sidu easily deals with that bash. And now it's still Trill and Mez on the back foot. And I just have to say, I mean, it feels like the boys just have most of the momentum in terms of damage. Like, what is going on?
Trill is forced to run away once again. They grip Sidu in, they stun him up. The boys, I would almost love to just see how much damage overall. I'm wondering if you can check it for us here quickly, because it seems like it would be drastically in favor of the boys. I mean, look at this pressure. Maybe it's the healing output. Perhaps Gorecki running a slightly different build or playing more efficiently to keep his team maintained on health. Touch of Death pulled by Chun-Li. He's looking for a big punch. Who is he going to throw it at? Damage is about to connect. Trill takes the hit. Mez is still low. Sidu gets gripped in. Now he's going to have to recover himself and Trill. Finally, some counter pressure from Method Orange with both Chun-Li and Smexon at sub 50. Gorecki picking Chun-Li back up. Gorecki, I think, adequately allocating his heals to Chun-Li, allowing Smexon to self-sustain with Death Strike. It's going to be a game-winning strategy here. Trill to target. Fortifying Brew going to trade for him to recover. The mana seems to be ping-ponging up and down for the Druids. There's the grapple weapon strategy. That could be game-winning here. 2 seconds left before Mez can use Death Strike. 1 second left. Barely making it out alive. A big overlap of cooldowns between Ironbark and Lichborn. And even still, Mez is very low on health. This is a surprising amount of damage from the boys in game 1.
Yeah, touch of death rolling on Smexen. Trill coming in, trying to get some damage rolling on Smexen, trying to get that counter pressure rolling. You talked about damage in this matchup. It's relatively even for both teams at this point. You can kind of tell. I mean, Gorecki, he is a little bit ahead in terms of health bars, but his mana is behind, looking for a drink right now. Trill gets topped off immediately by Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo might have to try to sneak away and get a drink, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to do it in bear form right now. Gorecki actually managed to drink a lot of his mana back. He has about a 20% lead. Once again, a triple leg sweep coming in for the boys. Good teamwork between Chun-Li and Smexen. Asphyxiate Stun on Gorecki. They're trying to get some counter pressure rolling. Method Orange needs to get some damage out. Sea-Doo just falling further and further behind in the matchup. Grapple weapon on Mez. Asphyxiate Stun on Trill. Lots of damage as they shred through Touch of Karma. Trill trying to kite away, trying to run, hide for his life at this point. Does manage to escape Chun-Li. Method Orange hang on, but that was a really close call.
Really close call indeed here. Dampening has just begun, and which Druid is going to maintain their mana at a more healthy margin then becomes the question. So far, Gorecki is at a higher mark. Chun-Li about to lead the charge with the Touch of Death, right as Method Orange wanted to push him over, so this could be a risky gamble to try and take him out. Touch of Death explodes. Trill takes the hit. Sea-Doo gets gripped in, but he jumps right before being stunned. Trill is still low, barely recovering. Sea-Doo with a quick pick-me-up. Now counter pressure from Trill with the Fists of Fury onto both Chun-Li and Smexen. Smexen going to respect that, trade out his Lichborn to reduce some of the damage during it. Trill's low, he transcendences away. Can Chun-Li get back on target? It's all about Chun-Li chasing down Trill. Ring of Peace from Trill, protecting himself, but now Mez is actually the target, and he's been taking a startling amount of damage, a lot more than we would normally anticipate for the Unholy Death Knight in this particular meta. Dampening continues to rise. Gorecki, though, now is behind on mana. Perhaps Method Orange, they've got a chance here. There's no Touch of Karma on Chun-Li. Defense is limited on both sides.
Yeah, Method Orange, if they can do this, this is such a good sign for their team. The boys right now still have most of the momentum, most of the pressure, but Gorecki still behind on mana. Trill has to hold on. He's got the Touch of Karma. Doesn't want to greet it out too hard, using the Turbo Fists of Fury to parry all incoming attacks. Chun-Li, of course, gets the Touch of Karma rolling from Trill. Trill, with limited defense now, is vulnerable. Can they get the Touch of Karma from Trill? Or Touch of Death from Trill. He trades it out. Trill's actually in a lot of trouble right now. They're trying to pressure down Chun-Li. He reverses the pressure with the Touch of Karma. Grapple weapon onto Mez. Chun-Li's still in a little bit of trouble right now. They actually just shred through that Touch of Karma. Thorns and Ironbark come in from Gorecki to keep Chun-Li alive. He's in a full leg sweep. Method Orange, can they close this out? Chun-Li's in a lot of trouble. He might have to run and hide. Trill in hot pursuit with the Fists of Fury. Chun-Li all alone. Fists of Fury himself to parry incoming attacks. Gets paralysis by Trill. Nicely done. Ring of Peace comes in. Chun-Li's doing everything he can to survive, but Mez is all over him. He gets the Asphyxiate Stun on Gorecki. He trinkets out. Trill portals on top of Chun-Li. Chun-Li still just flailing to survive. The stun comes in, and I think this could be it. Chun-Li with evasive maneuvers manages to get the Transcendence to escape, but how much longer can he keep this up?
He couldn't get out of range of the Death Grip. Fists of Fury at each other here. Both monks parrying each other's Fists of Fury. That's not going to be too good. Chun-Li's just on the run. How much longer can he keep going here? It's kind of like the Energizer Bunny, just keeps on going. Now trying to reverse pressure with Touch of Death. Trill has to run. It's going to be Method Orange looking to retreat. Touch of Death explodes. Sea-Doo needs to recover, but Sea-Doo managed to get some mana amidst all of that, significantly more than that of Gorecki. That could be game-winning, in fact, for Method Orange at about 8 minutes in. Mez's defense is about to fall. He certainly could become a target, and the Death Knights can't run as fast as the monks, so as Dampening gets higher, they become more of a priority for each of the respective teams. Sea-Doo is stunned, and you can see that the boys are switching their attention to Mez. What's he going to do? Turbo Fist from Chun-Li. Big damage. Leg sweep from Trill. Coming in with maybe 1 second left. Dodging the leg sweep there of Chun-Li. Able to get a lot of counter pressure as a result, but they're still spending their time on the monk, whereas the boys are spending all of their time on Mez, and the targeting could be game-winning here. The grapple weapon is certainly going to close this game out. Mez can't use Death Strike. Ring of Peace knocking him back in the fight. How is he still alive? He gets one more Death Strike. He's running with Sea-Doo to try and stay alive. There's no defense for a couple of seconds. Death Strike again. Death Strike again. The Gliders Maledicts are absorbing some heals. Gorecki, I think, is drinking, while Mez is just pinned defensively, unable to recover. If Gorecki comes back at full mana, it's over. The boys should be able to take this. I think that he is. I mean, he's spent so much time, it would be very surprising. He's not full. there's at least that, but see, Mez is just barely staying in this. Now we see Method Orange switching their attention to Smexen. There's cross kill written all over this game, I think, Ben.
Yeah, Mez is going to be in a lot of trouble. I feel like Trill's wasting a little bit too much time going after Gorecki. They need to get the damage rolling. Touch of Death is available for Trill. He activated with the Fortifying Brew. I think they're going after Smexen. They land the leg sweep. Smexen's going to be in a lot of trouble. Gorecki tries to deny the kill with the Iron Bark, but is it going to be enough? Gladiator Safeguard proc. Smexen's still in a lot of trouble. Gorecki doing everything he can to keep him alive. Paralysis comes in from Chun-Li. They're trying to get the counter pressure rolling, but it's still Smexen on the back foot. He's in so much trouble. Double leg sweep comes in from Chun-Li. He's trying to set up his team with counter pressure onto Mez. Trill gets low. Mez gets low. Massive damage coming in from the boys. What is Sea-Doo going to do in this situation? They could potentially take down Smexen. He's barely holding on. Trill's trying to take him down, but it's Mez that falls first. What a back and forth even game we see between these two teams. I could easily see a tremendous Windwalker Death Knight. You can still lose a mirror. I think Method Orange going for a little bit of a safer pick with Sam-I-Am on the Frost Mage. This is essentially one of the perfect answers for what the boys is running.
This was a good pick by Method Orange. We spent a lot of time talking about Mez and Trill, but equally so now they've got Sam-I-Am on the roster they can substitute in, and this was the 3 members running the Balanced Druid Demon Hunter way back at BlizzCon that won together, so certainly they're going to have similar levels of synergy. Mage, Restoration Druid, still a powerful combination in patch 8.2. How are the boys going to break through the defense of this composition? So far, they've got a decent amount of damage on the Sam-I-Am. Decent, more like an incredible amount. Iron Bark now traded out from Sea-Doo as well. Looks like Sam-I-Am's recovering. Counter pressure from Method Orange over onto Chun-Li. He's going to use the Fortifying Brew as well as a Touch of Karma, so a startling return of force from Method Orange. Chun-Li is going to need to be careful moving forward.
Yeah, Chun-Li, really not too much defense left, but with the Transcendence, with the Diffuse Magic, he should be able to keep himself alive quite easily. He's actually running the Fortifying Brew as well. Ride the Wind comes in. That's going to allow Smexen and Chun-Li a phenomenal uptime on Sam-I-Am. Sam blinks away, nicely done, gets gripped back into the Fist of Fury of Chun-Li. Good teamwork here between Smexen and Chun-Li. There's been great pressure in this match so far. Sea-Doo gets caught into a bash. Gorecki was looking for crowd control, unable to find it. Sam-I-Am able to defend with the counterspell, but this could easily be the first ice block. Sam-I-Am's getting low, dropping out a Blizzard. Trill defends him with a leg sweep onto Smexen, keeping him alive. Sam-I-Am still just running circles on this map, and this is the one of things about this matchup is early on, it's going to be looking like it's going in the boys' favor. We have seen good damage onto Chun-Li. Maybe they can take him down, but I really feel like Method Orange, their lead starts developing a little bit later on Dampening, but maybe things have changed since the Restoration Druid nerfs.
You know, we're harping on Trill a lot, but I feel like even on his Demon Hunter, he's always doing the most damage as just an individual, right? So I think him as an individual, he can probably handle doing the raiding and the PvP based on my assessment of him as an individual, but it's a team game, so not having any games or not having maybe as many games as they could with his teammates, Sam-I-Am and Sea-Doo, overall, they're lacking things like synergy. So while he can handle juggling both activities, it's these things that they're going to be lacking when it comes to the competition, whereas the boys have committed all of their efforts towards Arena and being the best together as a team. You're seeing the synergy there prove to be a big factor, as well as getting Sea-Doo more time on other healers. Trill is spending all his time raiding on melee classes, maximizing his damage. He's getting some practice out of that, even though it is an arena. Good push here onto Sam-I-Am. Ice block going to be forced. Sea-Doo can't deal with the damage. No Iron Bark available. And I was not expecting Method Orange to be so far behind so early. This is not looking good for them.
Yeah, I mean, they're still in it. I mean, Sam-I-Am, he still has one of his ice blocks left. It's not completely over for them yet, but the boys have been able to find a lot of momentum, a lot of pressure in this matchup, and it's actually Sea-Doo who's behind in terms of mana as well. Ride the Wind doing a really good job for Chun-Li. He's able to avoid all of these incoming snares. Normally, the Frozen Orb, the Blizzard, they get everyone snared up, but because of that Ride the Wind, Chun-Li adds that extra utility to Smexen as well as himself to stay on target on Sam-I-Am, and it becomes difficult for Sam-I-Am to actually kite and get away in these situations. Sea-Doo's mana, for the first time in this game, actually ahead of Gorecki. Chun-Li uses the Transcendence to escape. Doesn't want to trade out the Touch of Karma just yet. With the boys looking to stabilize as Chun-Li marches forward once again. Sea-Doo lands a Cyclone, looking for Hibernate on Gorecki. Unfortunately, not able to find it. Good dodge there by Gorecki. Chun-Li with the paralysis on Sea-Doo. They're looking to get really aggressive here on Sam-I-Am.
this series could even have potentially BlizzCon on the line. There's a huge amount of consequences for Method Orange if they can't qualify for the summer finals. If they can't qualify for the summer finals, I don't think they can qualify for BlizzCon, period. They need good results. They have to beat every team, at least to get a top finish in these next couple of cups, because summer season's coming to a close. Can they pull it off? Big attempt here by Method Orange to kill Chun-Li as Touch of Death goes off, but Chun-Li is able to retreat away and avoid the lethality of that cooldown from Trill. Now Chun-Li has his Touch of Death available. When is he going to pull the trigger on it? Because it could be an ice block. There's no Iron Bark for 24 seconds. If Chun-Li can get on target, he knows there's an opening. He's going to go for it. Big Fist of Fury. Samayam could be in trouble. A bit surprising to not see the Temporal Shield here from Samayam. That's a big hit of damage. He does manage to recover. Chun-Li's now in trouble. He went for the push, didn't get the kill. He's overextended. Trill's looking to try and close it out. Sidu moves in as well. Greki gets interrupted. Beautiful counterspell by Samayam. Perfect Cyclone by Sidu. Great timing on the crowd control.
Oh!
Chun-Li barely holds on.
No
Rolling
way.
back over. Turbo Fist to dodge some attacks from Trill and counter pressure Samayam. The boys battling it back, looking desperate to try and get the cold snap from Samayam, but not able to.
Samayam just had one more Fingers of Frost proc. It was game over. Chun-Li would have fell. Greki gets out of the crowd control with a miraculous Iron Bark. Chun-Li still in trouble though. Cyclone comes in from Sidu. Nice crowd control, and Chun-Li does fall. Nicely done by Method Orange, tying up this series, and I think it's
being death gripped on this map because the pillars are so close to the center where the melee tend to be brawling it out. Where is the start of this fight going to begin? Looks like at the side pillar with the ramp, as Greki takes right pillar, Sidu takes left, Greki in between. But this is where it's difficult to avoid being death gripped or potentially give up your pillar entirely. Double leg sweep early secured by Chun-Li. Mez going to respect this and activate his Lichborn. Sidu going to Iron Bark Trill. So both Mez and Trill are more durable at this point in time. Good allocation of cooldowns. However, it wasn't the Touch of Death or Apocalypse of Smexen, so they still got big swings amount of damage available. Grapple weapon on Mez, denying the death strikes. I think Trill has adopted that honor talent as well, but it makes him susceptible as his Gladiator Safeguard is going to be procced very early on.
Yep, Trill under fire. And that was actually Trill securing the first leg sweep. Chun-Li trinketed out, so he's got no trinket available to get the counter leg sweep on Mez and Trill and start developing some pressure. Bringer Piece gets dropped out. Trill just going to be running through that, trying to avoid some damage. Manages to avoid the Fist of Fury. Greki gets gripped in. This is a nice attempt here by Method Orange. Can they force anything from Greki? He leaps away. Only Barkskin was forced out. Trill still on the back foot. There's really good pressure coming in here from the boys onto Trill. Sidu manages to top him off. Now both teams are relatively stable at this point in the match. Smexen seems to be the main focus target for Method Orange in the match.
All right, let's see what they can get done. Obviously, before Dampening, the Death Knights are going to be a lot more durable. Outside of the grapple weapon window, which is currently up right now, we don't anticipate the Death Knights to be faltering this early on. Both Druids in crowd control, however, Smexen is Iron Barked as well as Mez, so they're both going to be quite durable. Lichborn's activated simultaneously as well. The cooldowns are mirrored. Both of these teams effectively mirroring each other in game number 3. Touch of Death going to be available sooner for Chun-Li though, which could burn down Sidu's mana at a faster rate if he is able to cycle it more readily. Greki avoiding the fight, cutting back behind the ramp, potentially looking to heal up top, not going to. Decent damage on Mez. Actually, not much defense. It's a bit surprising to see this much pressure. They do manage to get his Gladiator Safeguard, but a huge heal from Sidu is going to stabilize them. Now we see Method Orange looking to counter-aggress. Grapple weapon on Smexen, denying his Death Strikes, but he's built up and banked a huge amount of runic power. He can use Death Strike after Death Strike if he really needs to. Anti-Magic Shield and Gladiator Safeguard going to proc, though, regardless. Mana is starting to shrivel on the Robodrome, and I am wondering if the healers are going to be able to find a drink on this map in particular. They're likely going to have to go to the outskirts on the outside of the circle, which means there's no line of sight. Big push from the boys as they gripped Sidu into the fray. Grapple weapon on Mez, looking to create pressure on 3 targets. A 3-pronged assault by the boys to try and even the mana out, and it is costing Sidu a lot to recover.
Yeah, Greki gets gripped in as well. Nicely done by Method Orange, looking for counter pressure. Sidu's mana is really not doing great. Mez still low. He's not getting topped off. Finally, a massive heal comes in from Sidu. Sidu might actually sneak away and try to drink at this point. Can they shut him down? That really is the question. He's in cat form. Can he get in stealth? Not going for it. Too much damage onto Mez. Mez trying to stay alive right now, but the Gladiator's Maledict absorbing a lot of his heals. It's still ticking down. Sea-Doo just not able to top him off. Mez in so much trouble. Smexon trying to get there. Mez, there's just no heals. What is going on? Chun-Li taking him down with the Storm, Earth, and Fire. He actually has his images on Mez while attacking Trill. Really nice play there by Chun-Li. Mez, right now, grapple weapon is activated, so unfortunately he's not able to get any death strikes off. Sea-Doo doing everything to keep him alive. Innervate, Thorns, Ironbark, throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Mez to keep him stable. Trill is low. All momentum in favor of the boys.
All right, let's see if they can close it out here. They're so close to claiming victory in the mirror, but when it comes to the blind pick, perhaps we see the boys lock in a different composition, something a little bit more peculiar to try and throw Method Orange off. But when it's coming to mirrors, it's looking like the boys are in the driver's seat in terms of overall momentum. But still surprisingly, mana is even, only about a minute away from Dampening at this point. And the situations where Mez recovers, well, in Dampening, he simply doesn't. He's not going to be able to heal himself as much as he can prior. Smexon, the target here with no Lichborn and no Ironbark. He could be susceptible, but spending some Runic Power on Death Strike, looks like he's not. Sea-Doo gets gripped into the fight. Once again, the boys looking to create pressure on multiple fronts. They time the grapple weapon on Mez as they grip Sea-Doo in so that Mez can't use Death Strike. Sea-Doo probably panics a bit and allocates some healing to him, which is costing him more mana, and it's evening it out because, as we noted in the pregame, that Gorecki isn't running the double mana regeneration essences, so the boys need to create mana advantages through other means. Doing this three-pronged assault is certainly one. Drinking is another, which is what Gorecki is trying to do right now. Do they know where he is? Trill's going to roll over, but now gets bashed up at low health. How much mana did you get, Gorecki? A tad bit, and a tad bit is better than zero.
Yeah, but here's the thing also, when Gorecki sneaks off for a drink and Trill chases him, that's that's a window of opportunity where Trill isn't really attacking. And that's when Smexon and Chun-Li can start really getting some damage rolling onto Mez in the matchup. But I think stopping the drink is really important. Sea-Doo trying to go for a drink, that gets denied by Chun-Li. Both Druids not able to really recover their mana, and this is where sparks are going to really start flying. I mean, we're at 3% dampening at this point. Sea-Doo's got no mana left. Gorecki's got no mana left. Which one of these death dice is going to fall first? Mez in so much trouble. Gladiator Safeguard procs. Gorecki moves in, looking for additional damage. Can he take down Mez? Ironbark looking like it might be enough to keep Mez alive, but I feel like he's just still in so much trouble. There's way too much damage coming in from the boys. At 5% dampening, Sea-Doo has nothing left to work with, and somehow, some way, Mez manages to hold on, and Method Orange is reversing the pressure.
Counter pressure here on the Chun-Li, but I mean, at any point, this is another game that probably has cross-kill written all over it if neither Druid can regenerate mana. Chun-Li's trying to stop Sea-Doo, Trill's trying to support. How much mana did Sea-Doo get? Where's Gorecki? Can they stop Gorecki?
Oh, no.
I don't think they know where he is.
Oh, no.
Touch of Karma from Chun-Li is going to allow him to survive. And how much mana did you get, Gorecki? Not a huge amount, but it's a lot more than Sea-Doo. Grip and a leg sweep. Once again, a three-pronged assault from the boys. All three members of Method Orange in trouble, but Chun-Li, equally so, traded Touch of Karma to regenerate mana. But you can't spend that mana if you're crowd-controlled, Gorecki. Sea-Doo's trying to close the game out with a stun into a paralysis. A tad bit more damage to close it out on Chun-Li. He's on the ropes, trying to kite away, managing to save that Flying Serpent kick for after the Death Grip. Able to use his most powerful mobility to escape to safety and reset. But look at Gorecki, man. He drank. He spent all of that seconds later, and this is still evening out, but Sea-Doo needs to recover. Can he do it?
Trill traded out his Touch of Karma in that exchange, and now the boys have completely stabilized. Sea-Doo has to keep Mez and Trill alive. They don't really have any defensive cooldowns, and Sea-Doo's got no mana to work with. Trill portals away, trying to buy Sea-Doo just a little bit of time, but Smexon keeps him in combat. Sea-Doo tried to drink, but the boys are just denying him every step of the way. Gorecki moves in, gets the bash on Sea-Doo. Mez in trouble. Trill just too low on health to get any sort of counter pressure rolling, but that's exactly what they need. Trill moves in with the Turbo Fist, Fist of Fury, but Chun-Li lands the double leg sweep, grapple weapon onto Mez. Somehow, some way, they're still alive, but it looks like Trill's going to go down. The boys win the second mirror match in a row.
The series, they have the counter matchup and the opportunity to take us to Game 5.
Well, Sam looked really good on Ashamains. It's good to see Method Orange at least have some strategy on their team. They can utilize all four members, so if they can't beat them, best them in a mirror, they can craft the composition that would be more favored. So they do have that going for them. However, when they blind lock in Game 5, assuming that they win this, which isn't guaranteed, I think they should blind lock the Mage Windwalker. Having seen the way that the mirror has played out twice in a row, I would much rather see the matchup of the Mage Windwalker against what I would only assume is going to be the Destruction Warlock Windwalker of the boys. So far, decent pressure from the boys onto both Trill and Sam. Seadu's going to have to make a choice as to who he uses his Iron Bark on. He's trying to power through without it, and with Innervate active, he's getting a lot of big heals for free. Good timing on that by him to stabilize the team and hold on to cooldowns for later, but the longer he waits, the more risky it becomes. Trill doesn't feel too comfortable, so he's going to use Diffuse Magic, trying to reverse some of those Glaire's Maledict, as well as reduce some of the magic damage in the game. Gorecki positioned towards the starting room. Seadu in midfield. I do anticipate Seadu, who's going to push in aggressively here shortly. He's been etching closer and closer to Gorecki. Now moving in, looking to crowd control out of the paralysis. Good chain, but Chun-Li reverses with a double leg sweep, stalling some of the damage, as well as with Fortifying Brew rolling. I think that Chun-Li is going to be okay. Trill doesn't seem to think so, though. He's going to commit the Touch of Death and try and go all out. Gorecki respects that cooldown using Iron Bark. Seadu opts to Cyclone Chun-Li, realizing that there's no way they're going to be killing through that many defensive cooldowns. Stops some damage, stops some healing. I think that was a wise decision. Certainly, Seadu's crowd control was game-winning on Ashamains, and that is a solid Cyclone in that position. However, aggressively, we're waiting for Method Orange to pull the trigger. Gorecki is actually going to be the one that jumps in, bashing Seadu. Sam and Trill both low, and then Trill with a double leg sweep to reverse. We've been seeing these leg sweeps used defensively by the Windwalkers, and in that reversal, Trill manages to pull Touch of Karma from Chun-Li.
Yeah, nicely done. Chun-Li trading out some of those vital defensive cooldowns, and that creates windows of opportunity for Method Orange. Seadu right now trying to get some counter pressure rolling with the Thorns, buffing that on Sam. So every time Smexen and Chun-Li go after Sam when Thorns is activated, that's going to be reducing or reflecting some of that incoming damage. So it makes it difficult for Chun-Li and Smexen to stay on target, especially if they're being pressured down. It's a lot of extra damage Seadu can provide for his team. Right now, Seadu a little bit behind. Actually, Polymorph was stolen by Smexen. Nicely done. Smexen, of course, on that Unholy Death Knight has the Dark Simulacrum. He can use that to steal spells from his opponents. He stole the Polymorph from Sam, landed a full Polymorph on Seadu, and that's when they could start generating some pressure. Unfortunately, weren't really able to find too much damage. Trill, Sam, they're going to be completely fine. Didn't really have to trade out any defenses, but plays like that can definitely, get you major defensive cooldowns out of the way on the enemy team.
All right, let's see if they can keep it up. Sam's still at 50% health. Seadu again has to make a choice as to whether or not to commit the Iron Bark. The longer he waits, the more likely that Ice Block will be needed, but if they can wait for cooldowns like the Ice Barrier, then they can get away without using it. Ice Barrier absorbing some big hits here. Double leg sweep from Trill, getting behind that Fist of Fury and nailing 2 players. Gorecki, though, isn't in any crowd control, and he's healing through it very easily. Chun-Li now looks to reverse pressure with a double leg sweep of his own. Seadu going to respect that, activating the Iron Bark, but he activated it on Trill, so we likely see the boys go after Sam, who doesn't have that defense. Seadu then allocates his Swift Men to a different target. Another good Innervate timing from Seadu, prioritizing the Efflorescence and the Wild Growth and the Thorns. Very important as a Restoration Druid to use those expensive spells, with the Efflorescence being the most expensive, Wild Growth and Thorns being about second and third, as well as the Tranquility. So Seadu maximizing his healing output during that Innervate is certainly a way for him to build the lead that he's already established over Gorecki and mana.
Yeah, I mean, that mana lead we've seen pay off for Gorecki, especially in the Windwalker Death Knight mirrors. Seadu, of course, on Ashamains was able to sneak away and get a drink, and that put him ahead. Seadu still ahead in this matchup. Things are looking good here for Method Orange. We saw actually Chun-Li fall on Ashamain's fall, so it looks like Trill and Sam, they're going to be going after Chun-Li until late in Dampening. I feel like later in Dampening, that's when Smexen really becomes a target, but until Deathstrike's healing is reduced to just such a durable target, it's difficult for them to take them down, especially because Trill, I don't believe he is playing that grapple weapon. Big damage coming in from Chun-Li, lands a double leg sweep on Trill, on Sam. Touch of Death is rolling. Sam manages to survive with his Temporal Shield in order to stay alive. He has his Icy Veins rolling right now. He's looking to get aggressive on Chun-Li and Smexen, but it seems like Gorecki's able to heal through it. So far, so good. Trill backing him up. Seadu pushes in, gets the crowd control he needs. This is looking good for Method Orange. They have a mana lead. They're starting to develop some pressure in the match. Sam getting a lot of damage rolling, and we are just stepping foot into Dampening.
Yeah, and then Smexen obviously becomes a lot easier to kill, which I do anticipate will be the priority for Method Orange maybe 3 to 5 minutes from now. Until then, though, I do anticipate Chun-Li to be the target. Try and limit his damage by targeting him, force him to run away so that you can maintain a mana lead. to that 20-30% dampening mark to where then you switch your attention to the Death Knight. He is a sitting duck, unlike the Windwalker, who can escape to safety, and you're going to run them over when Death Strike is reduced by 30% effectiveness. This has been a strategy implemented throughout the entire year against Death Knight teams, and it continues to be the main strategy of use. Method Orange are looking good to bring this to a game number 5, but when we go to game number 5, what comp do you think they should play?
I'm not sure. We'll have to see. I mean, Gorecki did manage to sneak away for a drink. If we go to a game 5, I mean, right now, Method Orange, they're doing decently well, but they just let Gorecki completely reset his mana. They're actually in a good position now. The boys are looking good, moving into Dampening. Let's see if they can take down Trill. Trill actually under fire. Smexy just soloing him at this point. Chun-Li shutting down the Drink of Sea-Doo, but he did manage to recover a lot of his mana. That puts Method Orange back into the fight. Trill, of course, had to trade out his Touch of Karma to allow Sea-Doo enough time to drink. I think that's a more than fair trade in order for Trill to survive, in order for Sea-Doo to recover some of that precious mana, but Gorecki's still in a commanding lead.
Yeah, Gorecki able to regenerate a lot there, and that's not looking good. There's still potential for the boys to just clear this series up, 3-1 advance to face off against Cloud9. That lower bracket, man, that is sharks and murky water. Method Orange want to avoid that as long as possible. They need good finishes. Big consequences for them if they can't get the top finishes and get points to qualify to the summer finals. They're currently on the cusp. They're not even in the top 4 for that, and there's no way that they will qualify to BlizzCon on points. If they have to get to the summer finals, if they want a shot to make it to the global finals, they need this series. They have to pull it back. They are expected to be favored in this game on Tiger's Peak with the composition they've crafted. Sea-Doo looking to get crowd control, but Smexen delays it. Sea-Doo still trying to get it, but he gets denied again by Smexen, and that's putting Sam behind. Temporal Shield about to go off. Sam holds out, and Temporal goes back. Sam dropping the the Frozen Orb now as well, trying to dish out some extra damage, but not really finding it. Sam's just going to be bouncing around, looking to try and reduce as much damage as possible for a bit more dampening.
Yep, Dampening is going to be the name of the game. We're at 15% right now. 7.5 minutes into the game. Bashed on Gorecki. Chun-Li playing defensive. He's trying to run away. Can he survive? Gorecki leaps over in a good position to keep him alive and does manage to keep him alive. Chun-Li, like I said, good defensive plays. He has his Transcendence in a good spot. Trill and Sam, this allows them to build up a lot of damage onto Smexen. Sam actually blinking on top of that Ride the Wind. I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like every time Ride the Wind is down, you got to get as far away as possible from that. It's just going to allow Chun-Li and Smexen to have massive uptime. And as a result, Sam forced to trade out his Temporal Shield. Luckily, bounces himself up to full health. With the Icy Veins rolling right now, Method Orange, they're going to start developing a lot of pressure paralysis on Gorecki. Sea-Doo not in a position to really get additional crowd control out. Shrill actually on the back foot a little bit right now. Has the Touch of Death rolling on Smexen. And this is the point of the game where they can go after the target that isn't as slippery. They can go after Smexen. Death Strike isn't going to be nearly as effective. Whereas for Chun-Li, he can easily just Transcendence away. He has a lot of cooldowns he can rotate through. Smexen slowly but surely will get whittled down in this matchup if they can continue the damage output. But Method Orange, they're still focusing a lot of their attention on Chun-Li.
Yeah, I think at this point, you switch your priorities to Smexen. We're now at 22% dampening. Restoration Druids recede to 10% nerf. I think that's going to be amping up the dampening 10% faster. So at this point, I would like to see Smexen the target. Sam under pressure, but able to avoid the fight thanks to a Tiger's Lust. Good teamwork between Trill and Sam. Gorecki, though, is trying to sit down for a drink. Someone needs to stop him. Looks like they managed to. Trill pushed forward, but now he's a bit overextended. Chun-Li's forcing him back. Thorns is now going to make Chun-Li redirect his attention to a different target. Sunny up both Sea-Doo and Sam. Trill still low on health. I mean, Dampening could backfire. It's a double-edged sword. It reduces healing for all members in the match, not just one team. I think Method Orange are probably spending a little bit too much time on Chun-Li now in this position. I would like to see them switch to Smexen. They're desperate. They're both low. They're on match points. They have cooldowns to trade. They don't want to be going down without making a trade here. They managed to make it. Gorecki jumps in, secures the bash. That's going to be Touch of Karma from Trill. Likely an ice block if Chun-Li can connect. Chun-Li rolls over. Smexen in hot pursuit to get that ice block from Sam. The Temporal Shield available. A bit surprising to not see it active. Iron Bark instead with Innervate. Sea-Doo gets a couple of clutch heals with that Efflorescence Wild Growth combo. Thorns as well, so now they're going to have to pick the target without it. They put it on Trill. They know that he is the most vulnerable with no Touch of Karma, but even still, they're just going right through Thorns. They might just kill him. The boys are looking to close it out. Trill ports, but he ports into midfield. Everyone jumps on him at once. And the boys are going to take it 3-1.
we talk up Peekaboo, or Peekaboo gets an 87% Twitch vote, as we just saw there. He just hates it. He's like, wow, only Peekaboo can make this underdog statement. He wants to be considered the best player. He's looking to prove it here. And M2KC, they've had a really strong start to the summer season. Patch 8.2 certainly has been in their favor. Let's see if they can continue that streak with a win here.
The battle has begun. The move versus M2KC, and Absterge is sticking to his Shaman despite its significant weaknesses. And M2KC immediately looked to exploit those weaknesses, targeting the Shaman. Absterge was not pressured in his series earlier today. Let's see how he handles the pressure from M2KC. So far, it's looking good. They've already gotten Glidier's Medallion from Rubcub. Psychic Scream onto the Trinket. Jamili's still hovering at lower health. WizK is going to be free casting, certainly a big threat, but one that a Holy Paladin can easily dispense with, I believe, with that Shadow Resistance aura, the Avenging Crusader for immediate area of effect recovery, the support of the Blazing Barrier, and the Crimson Vial from the Rogue and the Mage, respectively. So the Shadow Priest isn't going to nearly be as threatening. We'd like to see M2KC bouncing between Peekaboo and Absterge. Absterge once again stun locked by M2KC as they make another assault. Vendetta popped. The Ghost Wolf build from Absterge looks like he's still running it, even despite the reductions in its effectiveness. It is going to be strong in the early game, but when we get into Dampening, certainly not going to be the same case.
I don't know if Jamili's actually playing Kleptomania. It feels like it would be really good if their strategy was going after the Shaman. Being able to just instantly strip Ghost Wolf every single kidney shot, I think would be really, really strong. WizK finds a Massive Spell onto Absterge. Just still decent pressure onto Jamili, and that's going to be the name of the game. Try to shut down Jamili as often as possible. When Roasties can finally land a kidney shot, if you counter kidney shot Jamili, all of a sudden there's really not that much damage in the stun lock. Fear on the Rubcub. Nice setup coming in from the move. Jamili gets low. Big heal incoming from Rubcub. He's got the Avenging Crusader and instantly tops off everyone. The Holy Paladin with that Avenging Crusader is just so powerful. When that's up, essentially no one can die. WizK now on the back foot. Dispersion gets traded out. Good counter aggression, good counter pressure coming in from M2KC as they look to reverse it onto WizK. He's got no dispersion. Greater Fate up in 2 seconds. Is there any crowd control on Absterge? Not yet. And things are looking pretty decent here for M2KC.
All right, it's looking decent. Good dispel by Jamili on the Hex. Immediate reaction time there. Certainly not losing any of his utility despite this aggressive push. Looks like M2KC, they're going to mix it up. They're going after WizK towards the mid-game. They've realized that Absterge is not going to go down without a fight, so they're going to try and limit some of the Shadow Priest's damage, extend this fight on for a bit. Absterge is surprisingly making the Shaman work. We've seen a couple teams in Europe doing the same. Perhaps they can overcome the disadvantages that the Shaman bring here with the Shadow Priest and the Rogue. This is a composition that the Move have been playing for quite some time now. They are known for styling on it, but equally so, M2KC's Rogue Mage Paladin is. This is quite a show in the lower bracket. It's almost surprising to see these teams eliminating each other so soon on. They both quite behind on points, or at least quite even on points. The tie is about to be broken in this series. Right now, Rubcub is in trouble as the Move look for a swap. This is easily a Divine Shield if they can get a bit more damage in, but the Gladiator Safeguard protects Rubcub. So he use Blessing of Freedom to escape Peekaboo while he's Frost Novaed by Jamili. Get around the corner and catch a couple Holy Lights. Good presence of mind by Rubcub, knowing that he had the Gladiator Safeguard. He could rely on that shield. Otherwise, he would be down his Divine Shield in this position.
Yep, WizK still under fire. Rubcub managed to hold on. He's got the Avenging Crusader up, but he's caught into a kidney shot. Is there any follow-up? This is great pressure coming in from the Move. They're trying to peel it, but on the end of the day, Rubcub, he has to use the Divine Shield. Now it's WizK on the back foot. Dispersion gets traded out as Absterge was caught into a polymorph. WizK playing on top of Absterge. He wants to be in a good position, full blind on Absterge. WizK running, hiding for his life. He's got the Greater Fade, finally back on top of Absterge where he can start connecting some heals. Is Absterge going to be able to keep him alive? That really is the question. And it looks like WizK is going to be A-okay, but Rubcub on the other side, no Divine Shield for another 5 minutes. This is looking really good for a Move. They have a big window of opportunity. The Vendetta is going to be up in 35 seconds, and that's when we want to see the Move make a defensive push on a Rubcub.
So Absterge activates his Earth Elemental. This could avoid a blind sap, as the Elemental will keep Absterge in combat. Although he's not sending it to attack anyone, it's kind of just hovering beside him. Maybe a bit of a mistake here. Rubcub's Glidier's Medallion out of the way. This is a big opportunity for a swap to him. I'd love to see that Vendetta
that was a bait.
Go on to Rubcub, end this. I mean, there's really nothing that could keep him alive. Jamili, maybe, is the only one with Polymorph. Good stun by Roasties, but aside from that, there's no personal defensives of Rubcub that can deny the damage that the move have available here shortly. When are they going to pull the trigger? Dampening is now 20 seconds in. Void Form is still rolling. They could at any moment. Rubcub moves in. He's overextending a bit.
I think Rubcub's
He's getting baited into midfield. Peekaboo could turn around and immediately go after him. I'm surprised to not see him do so. Maybe it's because he's being forced back defensive. Both rogues in a bit of trouble, but Roasties trades first on his evasion. Peekaboo holds on to his for maybe only a couple of seconds longer. They go all in on Roasties with the Vanish stun on Rubcub. Do they have any follow-up? Doesn't look like it. Rubcub has Avenging Crusader up. He is going to be A-okay unless he's crowd controlled, and it doesn't look like there is any, so Peekaboo's in trouble. He evasions, but Roasty Shadow steps behind it to secure the stun so that they can attack him during the Avenging Crusader, which then also forces the Cloak of Shadows as well. Big trade by Peekaboo to survive, and still very far on the back foot, although a mana advantage for Absterge.
I think M2KC, they realized how much trouble Rubcub was in. Going after Peekaboo really limits his ability to go offensive in the matchup. Vendetta is rolling. Roasties could be in some trouble, but Rubcub immediately tops him off. A great healing coming in from Rubcub. Now Peekaboo in a kitty shot. Full blind on Absterge. Peekaboo in some trouble. What is WizK going to do? We're going to have to see him try to deny. Very nicely done by Jamili. He was able to shut down the Master Spell. WizK goes for a Mind Control. That gets kicked. Good plays there by Jamili and Roasties, making sure they really limit WizK. He was the only one that could potentially keep Peekaboo alive, and they managed to interrupt him every step of the way. Peekaboo still low as a result, but Absterge now out of crowd control is looking good. The damage isn't over yet. There's Vendetta available for Roasties, as well as the Smoke Bomb. Peekaboo has been able to hold on to his trinket. Spirit Link actually trades out by Absterge to keep Peekaboo alive. And the move is slowly running out of cooldowns. M2KC going after Peekaboo. This has been a great adaptation in their strategy that has been paying off.
Yeah, let's see if they can capitalize on it and net a kill. Still Void Shift available for WizK. He needs to make sure that he doesn't use his Gladiator's Medallion for anything other than that. If he does, big opening for M2KC. This match is going to be coming down to the wire here. Mana is surprisingly even between Rubcub and Absterge. The cooldown situation equally as well. Rubcub being targeted by Peekaboo. He's going to retreat away, not wanting to be freely attacked by the entirety of the move. Jamili's going to Frost Nova the whole team back behind the pillar. That's a bit unfortunate for the move. Stalled out on their Earthen Wall Totem, and then M2KC immediately re-engage off the back of that Frost Nova. Both healers in stuns, but Peekaboo could be in more trouble in this position as Absterge is in a Ring of Frost. WizK is going to use a defensive silence, but Jamili actually breaks out, secures another Polymorph. Gladiator's Maledict is absorbing a huge amount of healing on Peekaboo. They dispel it off, but he's still very low. It could easily be a Cloak of Shadows here as he hovers on 10%. Gladiator Safeguard stripped off by Jamili. Big Pyroblast grounding by Absterge. Beautifully timed there, but still pressure is high. Absterge can't recover. This needs to be the Void Shift, and that's exactly what WizK was saving that for. Now he's Polymorphed, healing back up to full. Peekaboo stays alive, but M2KC switched their attention to WizK.
They made a big mistake. WizK trinketed, Void Shift, Peekaboo trinketed, and Cloak of Shadows. That was a major overlap by the move. That's a massive mistake that could easily cost them the game. Now Peekaboo's very vulnerable moving forward. M2KC, Rubcub, his mana is doing quite well. Actually, even right now with Absterge. Somehow Absterge has been doing a really good job managing his mana in this matchup. This is really back and forth. The move, are they really going to be able to make the Rogue Shadow Priest Shaman work against this composition M2KC has just been dominating with? There's a full blind onto Absterge, another attempt here onto Peekaboo. Are they going to be able to take him down is a question.
Well, they've still got Jelly Beans on the bench. He's been playing Mage. Maybe we see this go to a Rogue Mage Paladin mirror if the Shadow Priest Rogue Shaman doesn't work out.
That's a good joke.
I mean, if it doesn't work out, what else do you do?
Jamili blocked.
Jamili, why?
He blocked a CC.
He's in trouble.
There. He could die here.
I mean, Jamili's in a lot of trouble. There's a sap on Rubcub. He's got the Divine Shield and the Ultimate Sacrifice. Does he have to trade it out? The Ultimate Sacrifice appears to be enough. Jamili with the offensive Ice Block, unfortunately, does cost a major defensive cooldown, and now they're actually going after Rubcub. All that sacrifice damage being redirected. Kidney shot onto Rubcub. This is trouble time for M2KC. The move really capitalizing on that aggressive play, but they're going all in on Peekaboo. Kidney shot, combustion. Do they have the damage to take him down? Peekaboo drops the smoke bomb, trying to stay alive. Kidney shot onto Jamili, and now it's Jamili on the back foot, and Rubcub really doesn't have too much left to work with to keep him alive.
You say that, but Avenging Crusader is quite a lot, unless they can crowd control it, which they are for a couple of seconds, but I don't think it's long enough. Avenging Crusader is going to be a huge amount of pressure. Absterge pre-links to Polymorph, saving Peekaboo during this moment in time where he would otherwise get crushed between the weight of Rubcub's hammer. This Avenging Crusader is quite powerful. Still, crowd control is secured. Absterge has to recover through almost unrecoverable damage at 32% dampening. Peekaboo trades Cloak of Shadows and Feint to recover, but Roasty doesn't care about those cooldowns. He's going to keep shredding. WizK with a triple Psychic Scream. WizK trying to put the team on his back and turn this around, but it's just looking so difficult. Absterge can't bring Peekaboo's health past 50% at this point. He's on the run, retreating away, realizing that Absterge is going to be crowd controlled for some time. WizK gets denied on his Master Spell. Instead, in desperation, is going for mind controls. Stun on Jamili, mind control on Roasties. Roasties trinkets to end the game, stunning WizK while Absterge is simultaneously stunned. Into Dragon's Breath with 1 second left. Gladiator Safeguard gonna proc on Peekaboo. Doesn't look like they can take it off. Absterge is trying to fake cast the interrupts. He fake casts the kick. There's no counterspell. Absterge is bombing heal after heal. Beautiful fake cast by Absterge.
Yeah, 37% dampening. This is really a struggle for both these healers, especially Absterge. He just cannot top off Peekaboo. That's the evasion. That's the full blind. That's the Dragon's Breath. Nice setup here coming in from M2KC. Peekaboo, how are you going to get out of this one? Hammer of Justice comes in from Rubcub. Full blind on Roasties. Nice defensive maneuvers. Now it's Jamili on the back foot. Kidney shot, Garrote Silence, full fear on Rubcub, but he preemptively got the sacrifice on Jamili to keep him alive. Nice plays here from both teams.
Yeah, beautiful plays. Avenging Crusader available. Maybe it's enough for Rubcub to turn around the pressure. He's being targeted down heavily. He seems to not be able to even handle it with the Avenging Crusader. They've got a stun though on Peekaboo as they look to reverse it. Full Polymorph, no Master Spell available. But they do deny the re-polymorph with the mind control. Avenging Crusader is still up. That's a lot of damage, Peekaboo. Your healer's in a stun. How are you going to make it out? WizK is trying to do everything he can to stall. So far, doing a great job. The Avenging Crusader is now over, but Vendetta is rolling. Roasties looks to roll over Peekaboo. He's on the run at 10%. WizK reconvening with the team. Ascendance comes up for Absterge. He gets one big splash heal with that, but even still stunned, and it is not enough. M2KC looking like they're going to be able to close this out. WizK has something else to say about it. Jamili's cauterized is rolling down. He's dead. WizK, the Shadow Shredder, dealing tons of damage here towards the end of the match and managing to pull it off in a 2 versus 3.
That's a full hex on Rubcub. I mean, Rubcub's got no mana. Roasties could easily fall in this situation. I mean, you would think going into this that the Assassination Rogue Paladin could win, but it's Roasties who has to run. Rubcub has to play catch-up. He's got no mana. Absterge and WizK, they have to play aggressive here. They cannot allow Rubcub to get a reset. If he tops off Roasties, it's going to be a nightmare situation. 50% dampening. Full fear comes in. What is WizK going to do? He's actually going after Rubcub, it looks like. Roasties trying to shut that down with a kidney shot. Full hex secured over onto Rubcub. Now Roasties has to run. This is actually very back and forth, but I feel like the moves, they can continue the pressure. They will win this.
Yeah, they've got all the momentum right now. Rubcub needs an Avenging Crusader, but he doesn't have mana for it. Roasties is just taking so much damage. Absterge is lobbing out lightning bolts. He's just zapping Roasties. Those lightning bolts look like tickled bolts, though, not doing too much damage. Rubcub avoids the fight, but I mean, for how much longer? You can't hide forever. Eventually, you're going to have to come out, and Absterge is going to force them to come out by repositioning for a res. Rubcub sees that. He's charging across to stop it. Stuns Absterge. Maybe an opportunity for Roasties, despite having nothing to take down WizK. He fades. He gets in the Earthen Wall Totem. He counter-pressures Roasties. He has to run, but his healer's way over there. That's quite a far ways away. He's going to chug up that Crimson Vial, heal himself up. Rubcub has to cross midfield. Absterge is right on top. Avenging Crusader. He just got enough mana for it. He's trying to get Judgments out to heal. If he gets some Crusader strikes, he's going to actually recover. I don't know if he's dead.
No.
Judgment, Avenging Crusader is enough, maybe, for RubCub to hold on. Absterge is now fully blinded. RubCub's going to be doing a lot of damage, even though he's at 10%, and WizK actually doesn't have very much. He's got Void Shift, but he's crowd controlled. He's going to Void Shift over to Absterge, but now they may switch to Absterge. They're going to switch to Absterge. Both healers are looking like they're going to die at this point in time. WizK grips Absterge over. RubCub barely holding on, running across the midfield. Roasties is
Absterge is dead!
I don't know if he's dead at this point.
Cloak of Shadows.
He's got the Cloak of Shadows. Roasties has everything he needs. RubCub just needs to not die. He needs to not die. Absterge charging in, but this is dangerous for Absterge. This is such an insane game. Melee Wings procs. RubCub gonna keep his team alive. Potentially, WizK trying to close it out. 60% dampening. Roasties has the Cloak of Shadows. He's not a great target right now. RubCub realizes they can just hold on to the Cloak of Shadows. Roasties is gonna be able to throw that out. RubCub sits down for a drink. What is he gonna do? Is he go for the res? Absterge, WizK, charge in. I don't think he's gonna be able to get it. That gets shut down. And now Roasties is really vulnerable. They may have thrown away the game.
I think it's over here. WizK getting in with some Shadow Word, Deaths, and Void Bolts. RubCub gets closed out. Roasties is still trying to kill Absterge, though. Can he take him down? He's mind controlled. Doesn't look like it. M2KC are going to tap.
These situations where they normally wouldn't. Even last season, he was playing Destruction Warlock. And when it comes to Shadow Priest gameplay, this guy is about as good as you can get, you know. Shutting down so many kills with the mind controls, with the fears, with the silences, you know, really having such good game awareness. And we're going to see if he can bring them another win here on Hook Point.
Yep, we will see it. M2KC one down, but looking for the advantage on the small map.
I mean, they're one down, but I feel like that game was pretty in favor of M2KC, or at least for most of it, until just the absolute last second. Now on a smaller map where the move aren't going to have a lot of space to breathe, I think that gap is going to be even larger. Absterge targeted down early on here by M2KC. They're looking for baits on cooldowns. They haven't committed anything themselves. They do at least get Earthen Wall, but nothing else. The move looked to get aggressive, going after RubCub as well. A bit of a healer all in from both sides. RubCub escapes from that, almost scot-free as well. Another stun onto Absterge, big damage from Jamili, popping that combustion. Vendetta, Wombo combo, huge pressure. Gladiator Safeguard, Absorb needs to be enough. They Dragon Threat the whole team, looking for follow-up crowd control, but don't have it. They're going all in with just pure damage. They just want to overrun Absterge with nothing but pressure. He's on the run, but I mean, where can he really go? It's Hook Point. He's going to be abandoning his team. He's stuck. He has to use Spearling Totem to stabilize.
Yeah, he uses everything. I mean, in the last game, this is what they wanted to do, but Jamili messed up his talents, didn't have Kleptomania. This game goes for the Kleptomania. Every single time, Absterge gets caught into a kidney shot, a Hammer of Justice, Kleptomania, Spellsteal comes in, rips off the Ghost Wolf, rips off her shield, rips off Riptide, and it makes it so Absterge becomes really vulnerable in every single stun lock. I really don't know how Absterge is going to survive. They're going to have to pull off miracles, need good crowd control onto Jamili, good mind controls from WizK, good counter pressure. Otherwise, I think Absterge is going to ultimately go down.
Yeah, it's not looking too good here for the move. How much longer can Absterge keep it up despite the onslaught of M2KC? He's at least going to get a couple seconds to breathe while there's pressure on Roasties. Peekaboo sets up for huge damage there with a kick on the healer and a stun on Roasties into a follow-up stun by Absterge. Good damage on Roasties right now. They pull Cloak of Shadows. This is the counter pressure that the move need if they want to stay alive here in game number 2.
Yep, Avenging Crusader comes in from RubCub. Here we go. They're going after Peekaboo. They're actually changing their target. Full polymorph secured over on Absterge. Shadow Step kick on WizK. Good damage on Peekaboo. He's got no Cloak of Shadows. Evasion's about to fall. Evasive maneuvers coming in from Peekaboo. One of the slipperiest rogues in the game. Now going for a kidney shot onto Roasties. This is good counter pressure here from the move. They get the silence on RubCub. He trinkets out of that. And now we'll have to see. Do they have follow-up crowd control at all? I think he actually may have trinketed out of the blind into a silence is what happened. That's exactly what happened. Fear comes in from WizK, but RubCub trading out his trinket for the blind. That's a fair trade. And now we'll have to see. Can M2KC turn it around? Hammer of Justice on Absterge. I don't know if I like that they abandoned going after Absterge. It seemed like they had so much pressure with that strategy, but we'll have to see. Changing their attention over onto WizK. They've developed a decent amount of pressure, but there's still the Dispersion, there's still the Greater Fade. Polymorph now onto Absterge. WizK, is he going to be able to get the Mass Dispel? It doesn't look like it just yet. Interrupts available for Jamili and Roasties. And now WizK, he's in a lot of trouble.
WizK's in a lot of trouble. Interrupted for a few more seconds. Trades out Dispersion, but overlapped with the Gladiator Safeguard. 2 defensives for 1 assault. M2KC establishing a lead. Now with Combustion Vendetta available. When are M2KC going to go for the throat? When are they going to end this? They have a good opportunity. We're just waiting in the wings. They're going to blind Absterge. They're going to go after WizK. This is likely Void Shift if we see them go all in on cooldowns. They need more crowd control. They get the crowd control. They need to try and stop Void Shift, but I don't think they have a way to do so. Maybe they don't even have enough damage to get it. They smoke bomb to stop it. WizK can't get in line of sight to use Void Shift. Beautiful play by Roasties. M2KC tie it up.
Yeah, we talked about it in the start of the game. It's going to come down to their offense on the small map. M2KC were better. The move now, once again, on their main composition is Absterge on that Restoration Shaman. Is it going to be enough? The move, as we've said, from the start of this series, they really need to find a victory here to make it to that top 4 and to keep themselves within the top 4 going into the summer finals.
Yeah, let's see what they can do. Right now, M2KC, they had a lot of momentum. Honestly, I feel like they threw away game number 1. They should have won that. I still feel like the move is on the back foot entirely. If they win this, it's going to be off the back of outplaying M2KC. M2KFC, of course, going up against the move. I feel like their composition does have the advantage. They're playing well. They're getting good offensive plays. We saw Roasties with a beautiful smoke bomb in the last game, which did secure them the game. Blind into double Ring of Frost. Nicely done by Jamili. WizK with a beautiful defensive fear mass dispel. Good plays by WizK, freeing up his team, and now they can start getting some counter pressure rolling.
Jamili the target, but Rubcub's not in any crowd control, so he's going to stabilize quite easily. Jamili, Frost Nova, and Peekaboo, but dispelled by Absterge. Peekaboo in hot pursuit to close this out. Stun on Rubcub. Where's the follow-up? Don't have any, unfortunately. Defensive Dragon's Breath on Peekaboo by Jamili to try and stall out some damage. Looks like Peekaboo's going to come back and force Roasties away. The move are all stacked up together. M2KC are not going to overextend. A bit of a pause in the fight here. As I say that, Roasties and Jamili jumping right back in. Rubcub looking for crowd control, but gets silenced by Peekaboo. Peekaboo disrupting the entire team. Absterge trying to hex with cross crowd control. Jamili gets silenced. Perfect timing here by the move, but ultimately Rubcub escapes the crowd control. Avenging Crusader is going to be a big threat for the move, not only in terms of Rubcub's ability to recover, but also his added damage.
Yeah, and let's see if that damage is really going to pay off. Greater Fate comes in from WizK, avoiding a lot of the combustion damage available by Jamili. Double Dragon's Breath comes in onto Peekaboo, onto Absterge. Good control. Counter pressure onto Jamili. There's the kidney shot. What is Peekaboo going to be able to set up? I mean, on the last couple of games, it has come down to deep dampening before either one of these teams is really able to get a kill. WizK, with the way he's cycling through his defensives, it's really difficult to take him down. For M2KC, they do have the potential to just one-shot someone at any moment, so the move, they definitely have to stay sharp in this matchup. Rubcub's been doing a really good job with his Avenging Crusader, resetting a lot of the health bars of his team. Whenever they get low, he can pop the Avenging Crusader, top everyone off, and it just seems to be super effective against Shadow Priests in general. We're about 2.5 minutes into the game, halfway until Dampening kicks in. Rubcub's mana, around 65% right now. Absterge around 70, so relatively even for both these teams. But the stakes are just so high. This is a lower bracket game. One of these teams is going to be eliminated from the tournament. Right now, we're tied up in this series. But both of these teams, they have to start making deeper runs in the tournament, especially for the move. I mean, they're really behind at this point. If they want to make it to the summer finals, they need to have a good showing. And I think taking down M2KC in this matchup would speak volumes for them.
Good push by M2KC. They get dispersion from WizK. The defense of the move begins to crack, even despite their map pick. That's not looking good for the move overall. Can they rely on the Shadow Priest Rogue Shaman to overcome M2KC? Are they going to be forced off onto something else? WizK still the target. Roasties continues pushing forward. Rubcub not really backing him up too much, so Peekaboo's going to go after Roasties. He's overextended. Try to aggress him off of WizK, give WizK room to breathe. Absterge anticipated an attack. He dropped Earthen Wall. M2KC say, oh, hey, that's an Earthen Wall totem absolutely for free. We're going to take that deal, pull back for a second, wait for its defense to fade, and then make a push. Now looking to secure crowd control. Hammer of Justice, Ring of Frost. WizK's in a poly. No, it gets broken up by Peekaboo. No, it doesn't. Jamili still secures the polymorph. WizK gets shut down on his support. Triple Dragon's Breath by Jamili, isolating Peekaboo even further. But surprising to not see any significant cooldowns forced there in that exchange. It was good crowd control by M2KC, but the moves stay alive.
Yep, the move have done it. They've stabilized in the matchup. WizK has Dispersion rolling up in around 15 seconds. Rubcub with no trinket. Could be vulnerable, and I really like when the move does go after Rubcub, put pressure on him. but it seems like he's going to be fine. All three members kind of rotting down. WizKay's been able to develop a lot of pressure. When they go after Peekaboo, it's kind of scary because that allows WizKay to just free cast Vampiric Touches and get out quite a bit of damage. Roasty's under fire, and looks like Jamili's going to be peeling that up with the double Dragon's Breath, looking for a double Ring of Frost. Manages to find one. WizKay, nice plays, actually uses the Greater Fade to avoid the Ring of Frost. Goes for the Master Spell, gets interrupted, but he's able to back up Jamili and now just spamming out the Vampiric Touches. After this Avenging Crusader falls, I think the move is going to start generating some pressure.
All right, let's see what they can do. Avenging Crusader is down. The time is nigh for the move to make their move. Absurge has recovered, but Rubcub's trying to drink. Absurge needs to stop it. He's making his way over. Does manage to poke Rubcub, stop him from drinking. But now Jamili and Roasties are falling behind. Kidney shot initiation here by Peekaboo. Going after Jamili. Rubcub trinket's blind, silenced on his trinket. Good reaction time by WizKay. Unfortunately, no further crowd control. WizKay fading a glider. What is this? Preemptive Spirit Link. Jamili threatening a polymorph on Absturge, so he wanted to use the preemptive Spirit Link. And now
like
Spirit Link is out of the way now. That's a major defensive thrown out the window.
It wasn't any cooldowns either. Jamili wasn't using Combustion. That wasn't Vendetta committed. And now there's an opportunity to go after Absturge. Absturge could be in some trouble. Preemptive Astral Shift on that kidney shot. Nicely done by Absturge. Heads up play. Earthen Wall Totem drops down. But now look. Absturge, no Spirit Link Totem. He's got no Astral Shift. He's got no Earthen Wall Totem. And guess what? Roasties has Vendetta. Guess what? Jamili's going to have his Combustion. This is really scary for Absturge. They have to hold on. WizKay needs to make sure he has his trinket available for that Void Shift. Rubcub is getting low. Peekaboo's been able to generate a lot of pressure. Actually, all three members of M2KC rotting down. Rubcub with the Avenging Crusader should be able to top off his team. Look at these heals coming in from Rubcub. If he can stay on target, he will top off all three members, and that really is the strength of the Holy Paladin.
All right, Rubcub, you can make the power play here. Avenging Crusader available. Absturge is in a stun. Jamili blinks in, gets the polymorph. WizKay gets shut down. No, he doesn't actually. He sneaks in a Master Spell. Bit unfortunate there for M2KC. That could have been game-breaking if all three members could connect. Counterspell was available for Jamili, but not decided to be allocated during that period of time. Missed opportunity. Rubcub's trying to carry with the Avenging Crusader, but gets stunned up. Now Roasties is in a bit of trouble. Could be a Cloak of Shadows. If they can get 2-for-1 cooldowns during Avenging Crusader, that's certainly the lead that the move need to establish, but they're not finding it. Rubcub has now out of crowd control, stabilized the team, and looking A-OK as Dampening continues to rise.
Yeah, 13% Dampening, 7 minutes in. Rubcub's mana, 15%. Absurge a little bit ahead at, around 30%. Now full kidney shot onto Peekaboo. Looks like M2KC, they're looking for a good setup. Dragon's Breath onto WizKay. Ring of Frost onto Absurge, but unfortunately unable to find the damage. Peekaboo shuts it down with the Trinket and Cloak of Shadows. Those are major defensive cooldowns. Without Evasion, Cloak of Shadows, and Trinket, Peekaboo's going to be a sitting duck the next time M2KC make a move. If they get crowd control on Absurge, it could just be the game. And I'm actually pretty sure Roasties has his blind up shortly. That's going to be the perfect storm to go after Peekaboo in this matchup.
All right, let's see.
There it is.
They can execute full blind. WizKay gripping Absurge over, trying to maybe break the crowd control, but they don't break it. Peekaboo is still isolated. How much longer can he stay alive on his own? WizKay is now out of crowd control. He's going to support with a double Psychic Scream. Peekaboo sets up stuns and silences as well across all three members, looking to build huge swings of momentum. They crush through the temporal. They're looking for the Cauterize. Rubcub's interrupted and can't heal or sacrifice. Jamili hovering on such low health. Absurge goes for an aggressive concentrated flame, nets the Cauterize as a result. Rubcub is silenced. It's going to be a block. It's so surprising to not see an Ice Block. Ice Block Master Spelled by WizKay. Pressure is still high. Roasties is low as well. Avenging Crusader going to be popped by Rubcub. He needs to connect with this, but he's hexed. Jamili dispels it instantly. Rubcub connects. Once again, carrying the team as the healer, but now crowd controlled. Both teams in crowd control. Absurge in a Ring of Frost. WizKay being counter-aggressed. M2KC have stabilized. How much can they get? They really need to get a dispersion during this attack, but they're not finding it.
Yeah, and Jamili is going to be getting the Blessing and Protection to survive. That was the Vendetta. I like that trade by Rubcub. Vendetta gets traded out. Immediate Blessing and Protection, not allowing the move to generate any pressure. And sometimes those preemptive plays as a Paladin are absolutely the best. You don't wait too long You just use it immediately and you can stay ahead in a situation like that. Jamili moving forward, getting damage rolling on WizK. A full kidney shot does land. He's got the dispersion, but that's the only thing left. The Upsurge, if he gets caught in crowd control, this is going to be a scary situation here for the move. They've gotten basically every defensive cooldown out of the way of Jamili, but they have to once again get him down low. And Rubcubby has the ultimate sacrifice to keep him alive, but Peekaboo has forced Jamili to run away, retreat, and sort of recover in this situation. I mean, M2KC, they're all low right now. Rubcub has to play catch up. His mana isn't great, and Peekaboo's moving in for the kill.
Peekaboo is looking to secure victory for the move, but Rubcub still has the last out with the the Divine Shield ultimate he needs to do it now. Divine Shield ultimate sacrifice now out of the way. So this is looking good for the move. They've still got Spirit Link, they've got Dispersion, Evasion, they've got everything. I mean, this is looking like a solid Game 3 victory for the move. This is a series that could go all the way to Game 5. It appears like the maps play a huge factor. Absurge pre-links again.
That's it.
But I mean, it's over anyway, but these pre-links from Absurge could cost him a game. I'm not the biggest fan unless Resurgent Paladins bring a lot of utility. When we look at Method Orange, they don't have either of those specs.
Yeah.
So with the way Shaman is built right now, it needs a comp that supports it, and I don't think Method Orange have a comp that supports it. So that's probably why Sidu is so reluctant to play the Shaman based on his experience with the compositions that are available to him. But here we go. Match point, Ruins of Lordaeron, and as it is a cemetery, it would be a fitting final resting place.
I feel like this might have been one of those matchups. I mean, maybe on the small map, but on the blind pick, if M2KC wins this and we go to a large map, I want Rosita Jones. I want Rubcub Druid. I want Rogue Mage Druid, honestly. I feel like that composition would be really good into the move. We saw it earlier with Getchur Boy Dog with a Windwalker Monk, and they almost won those games, and I feel like they could have played it a lot better, and I think Assassination Rogue is certainly better. WizK now getting low. Dispersion does get traded out. Really aggressive opener here coming in from M2KC. WizK on the back foot. Greater Fate already trades out as well. Hammer of Justice on Absurge. Can they take WizK down so early on in the match? Garrote Silence comes in. M2KC, they're just throwing everything out. Rosties does manage to hold on to his Vendetta, so they still have that available as a tool. Kidney shot over on a WizK. Now trades out the Vendetta. WizK is going to be in a lot of trouble.
I mean, the small map is paying dividends for M2KC. They've pulled defensive after defensive during their initial assault. This is looking solid for them, and likely that we're going to a game number 5. But when we go to game number 5, it's going to be in the moves territory, and they've been finding convincing victory on the larger maps, which there are still a lot available. So overall, if you're a move fan, it's definitely looking good for them. They still could just close it out if M2KC can't find a kill before those deeper stages of dampening and they get overwhelmed from this consistent pressure. Beautiful Psychic Scream. WizK utilizing the map for his own advantage as well, realizing that M2KC are going to play a lot more stacked up in these close quarters. Psychic Scream becomes a lot more deadly of a crowd control. Silence, Kidney Shot crossed together perfectly by the move. Temporal Shield goes off but barely does anything. Silence Kick, well set up by Peekaboo. This is likely a Cauterize. Cauterize is procced onto Jamili. He's on the run. Ultimate Sacrifice forced in the move battle back.
Yeah, cheap shot on Jamili on that Ring of Frost, denying the crowd control into Garrote Silence. Peekaboo, so cheeky with the Vanish, gets the triple DR cheap shot on Jamili into a triple DR Garrote Silence to shut down that Ring of Frost to keep their team ahead. Now Jamili forced into the Ice Block. Honestly, Peekaboo is on fire. He is just destroying. He blinds Rubcub. Kidney shots his Trinket, just single-handedly winning the game. Do they have any more crowd control? There's the Silence. That is the move. That was so beautiful. I cannot wait to see.
Be the X factor to bring Method Orange in favor, but they got bested in the mirror against the boys. Will they be bested against Resurgent as well? We're going to find out.
Is the Frost Death Knight here? Do you think they were expecting a Mage on the side of Resurgent, like an RM Paladin? Because Frost is, I can't imagine it's good in the mirror, is it, Benruki?
I'm not sure. It's not something I've played. I mean, maybe Delirium and the Heartstop Aura is going to be good against the Windwalker Monk. He might be able to, use the Fist of Fury way less often. It's going to be way less cleave damage. I think maybe Method Orange is looking to get ahead in this, but the grapple weapon coming in from Zach, it's a lot of damage that Sidu's going to have to deal with. He tops off Mez. But I think this is interesting. Maybe the cooldown reduction on the Fist of Fury, on the Rising Sun Kick, on all those abilities is going to make it so Valito and Zach overall just do way less damage. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to the damage meters in this game. We'll have to see who's going to be ahead in that regard.
You see the Pillar of Frost popped by Mez. He's looking to amplify his damage. turning it up past 11, going after Zach. No Iron Bark for 30 seconds. Really hammering through to get a touch of karma. Can they do enough damage to find it? Doesn't look like they can, and Kolo's going to save the day with beautifully timed big heals in the back line. Both Druids using their efflorescence quite effectively. That mushroom in the middle of the arena with the green circle is going to be perfect at healing through this stationary combat.
Yeah, Zach and Trill going head-to-head. Kolo getting legs up. Nice setup here by Method Orange. Kolo forced to trinket out. We'll see what they can get done. Right now, Mez is doing quite a bit of damage in this game. I think Trill and Mez are way ahead in terms of offensive damage in this match. We'll have to look at mana. Sidu able to escape and drink, and that was really important for Gorecki. In the last time we saw a mirror match, the Windwalker DK mirrors, Gorecki sneaking away for drinks is what put them ahead in the match, and it seems like Sidu has kind of adapted that, and now him going for drinks early on in the match has put him ahead of Kolo. Kolo trying to sneak away. Bash comes in from Sidu. Is there going to be any follow-up crowd control? Paralysis from Trill. Now Zach is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Is he going to be able to kite away with the Delirium, with the Heartstop? All his mobility is reduced. This is danger time.
Yeah, this is very dangerous for Zach. So dangerous, in fact, that he's going to be trading his touch of karma to bounce back, but they've managed to cut right through that. He's going to be retreating off to the corner, looking to recover. Thorn's currently active from Kolo, looking to redirect some damage, but Method Orange, they don't seem to care about that Thorn's redirected damage as they continue hammering on through, but a big heal comes in clutch by Kolo. Kolo looking like he wants to set up a drink. Sidu equally looking to do that. Zach tries to roll over to stop it. How much mana did the Druids ultimately get? That was a key factor to Gorecki's victory in the prior series in this mirror matchup. Mez leading the charge with another Pillar of Frost. The Frost Death Knight dealing devastation at this moment in time to fuse magic. Is it going to be enough? Kolo doesn't think it's going to be. Iron Park activated at the same time. Good cleave damage onto Valido as well. With this amount of overwhelming pressure, deeper into dampening, certainly this is going to be unrecoverable, Venruki.
Yeah, but Kolo did manage to sneak away and reset his mana entirely, and he has Thorns rolling as well. And now Trill and Mez, they have to be a little bit careful. Sidu at some point might have to sneak away and get a drink. We'll have to see if he can do it. I mean, I think that is what it's going to come down to, Sid, in this match. Which one of these Druids can sneak away, recover their mana? Like I said, when we saw Method Orange go head-to-head with the boys, mana was the main name of the game. I think Mez throwing a curveball with the Frost Death Knight could be interesting in this matchup. We'll have to see what Zach can do. I think more so than anything, it just really limits Zach's mobility in this matchup, especially if they can keep the Delirium, the Heartstop aura up. I think that's what they're going for. Really try to put Zach on the back foot, make it so it's difficult for him to escape. In those situations we saw Chun-Li get into where he was low and he managed to get away with the rolls and the flying serpent kicks. Zach's not going to be able to do that quite as easily.
Zach has been trying to avoid multiple near-death experiences here with Trill's Touch of Death activated prior, as well as the Pillar of Frost of Mez, but he's made it out alive. It's now his turn to turn up the heat. How much can he get done? Touch of Death available. A bit surprising to not see that pulled out, but they managed to get Gladiator Safeguard without it. Trill looks to reverse, grip into a double stun. Beautifully placed by Method Orange. Kolo continuously being crowd controlled. Zach trying to protect himself with the Ring of Peace, but gets bounced out of it by Trill's Ring of Peace. Zach once again, Desperation, Fists of Fury, as both monks going to be running the Turbo Fist, so neither one actually impacting each other with that double Fists of Fury. Pillar of Frost rolling for Mez, his damage amplified again, and Kolo's in crowd control. Zach needs to be careful. What's he going to trade? Iron Park available in one. Doesn't look like they even need to trade. It's Trill who's falling behind. Sidu desperate to recover, significantly behind on mana, behind on cooldowns. This is looking one-sided for Resurgent.
Yeah, Trill manages to portal away to safety. And that's one of the things. We don't know exactly how Frost does go into the Unholy in a mirror match. I mean, Mez, I don't even know if this is something that they've practiced. Maybe they just wanted to throw a curveball. Maybe they weren't even expecting the mirror. And if that's the case, it could be big trouble. 2% dampening now in this match. Sidu sneaking away. Is he going to be able to reset his mana? It's going to give him a massive lead over Kolo, who's only around 70% mana at this point. I think they're able to do it. Nice paralysis coming in from Trill. Sidu's mana at around 50%. He actually wasn't able to recover. Kolo gets the bash on Sidu. Sidu is going to be in a little bit of trouble as Trill has to trade out the Touch of Karma. They actually completely shred through it. Trill in a lot of trouble. Evasive maneuvers come in. He's going to have to kite. He's going to have to run away. Mez looking to get some counter pressure rolling onto Valido, onto Zach, and all the damage that the Frost Death Knight puts out is going to start really adding up and dampening. Colo getting caught into a leg sweep. Good pressure, good attempt here by Method Orange, trying to reverse the pressure, but I still feel like Method Orange is a little bit on the back foot.
Right now, they've got one thing in their pocket, one thing in their court, and that's Trill with Touch of Death. What can he get done? Although timing the grapple weapon prior to the burst, I'm not the biggest fan here of this grapple weapon from Trill. Could have been better coordinated with the team. It looks like Zach's still going to be the target. The next question then becomes, when do we see the team switch to the Death Knights? At what point in Dampening are they going to make that swap? Do they overcommit too far to the Windwalkers prior to that moment and not have enough damage to finish off the Death Knights? That could certainly be a problem. Trill, Fist of Fury flying, Valido simply dying as Colo's Iron Bark is available now. Will he trade it out? No, anti-magic shield going to be enough for Valido. Grapple weapon attempt onto Mez, but not enough damage to hammer through. Sidu's sitting through a stun though. Pillar Frost pop, Mez tries to reverse it. Trill still holding on to this Touch of Death for some time. I'm wondering what opening he's waiting for. Goes for the double leg sweep. Still no Touch of Death from him. Maybe he's waiting for the perfect setup, but he's falling behind the longer he waits. Gladiator Safeguard going to proc. Iron Bark Force from Sidu. Now finally going for the Touch of Death. Colo immediately responding that with quick triage on his Iron Bark. Zach gonna soak the hit. Sidu trying to secure crowd control. Both Druids trading their Gladiator's medallion in that exchange. Sidu crawling back with his mana, evening out more so with Colo as Dampening continues to rise.
Yeah, 15% Dampening, 7.5 minutes in the game. Zach and Valido a little bit low right now. Both Druids completely even on mana. What is this going to come down to? Just little things like which Windwalker Monk can avoid the Fist of Fury. Nice setup here by Resurgent. Triple leg sweep. Trill, is this going to be the Touch of Karma? He's running. He's trying to not use it, but ultimately has to trade it out. And they're just shredding through it. They don't care. Trill's in so much trouble. Diffuse Magic comes in. Gladiator's Maledict lands. Sidu with no Iron Bark. Can he recover Trill? Trill, he's trying to run. He's trying to hide. Turbo Fist comes in. Mez trying to peel for him, but the Asphyxiate Stun makes it so difficult for Trill to actually survive. Big heals finally coming in from Sidu. Trill survives. Zach has his Touch of Karma available. This is the Touch of Death. I think Trill could just fall in this moment.
This could be it for Method Orange. Zach goes all in. Sidu's interrupted. Ironbark's defense has fallen. Trill is on the run. Can they stay on his heels to close it out? They grip Trill back in. He rolls away again, but he's Chains of Iced. Zach is surprisingly not giving chase. I mean, his defense is limited as well. Maybe he doesn't want to risk throwing, but Trill stays alive, and that Colo's been lobbing out multiple Solar Wraths to try and close it, but not finding it. He wasted a lot of time on those Solar Wraths. His team is now behind. They don't have many cooldowns. They try to switch to Mez with the grapple weapon, but he appears to be A-OK. Pillar of Frost is now rolling. Zach may be the one that needs to run as both teams continue slugging it out into deep Dampening territory. Mana has totally evened out at this point. The defense is becoming increasingly limited for both sides. Anyone could fall at any moment.
Yeah, disarm over onto Valido. Can they take him down? Double leg sweep comes in. Zach trying to peel for him. Both Death Knights in a lot of trouble. Iron Bark trades out onto from Sidu onto Mez to keep him alive. It's Valido that could ultimately fall. Big death strikes keeping him alive. Frost does not have the same sort of survivability. Mez still holding on. Valido getting low. Zach getting low. Colo almost completely tapped on mana. Method Orange looking good. 26% Dampening, and it really is anyone's game, Sid.
All right, let's see if they can close it out. Mez is incredibly low at this point with limited defense from Sidu. There's no mana left in the tank. Method Orange switched to Colo, putting pressure onto 3 players. How is Colo going to recover? He's 6 seconds away from his Innervate, but Sidu has his right now. How much value are they going to get? Big Wild Growth heal from Sidu. Thorns and Efflorescence, maximum value Innervate on both sides as the Druids are totally even, getting close to the 10-minute mark between these teams. A mere match of Windwalker Death Knight. The only difference is Mez bringing in that Frost specialization, trying to mix it up and catch Resurgent off guard. It's looking fairly even. I wouldn't say that it's too much of a significant edge for their team's favor. Sidu's in crowd control. Mez is the target. He's not even trading. He doesn't appear to need it. Anti-magic shield going to be enough there. Trill has to use Touch of Karma, and this is the point in the game where I'm wondering if they're allocating too much time on the Windwalkers. Will it cost them? Trill rolls away. Gladiator Safeguard going to proc. Colo jumps in to bash Trill. Colo then looking to retreat around the corner. Not running the Cyclone likely. Not going for any crowd control. Still 0 mana left. Zach with Fist of Fury gets paralysis on it. Colo gets gripped into a stun, but Trill's the one who is done. Resurgent besting Method Orange in the mirror as well here today.
Correctly, they should be able to grab a win here. And then in the blind pick, I would go for the Windwalker DK again, this time with the Unholy DK, and just, you know, try to brush it off. Don't get too emotional over the situation and the stress, and just try to figure it out.
Yeah, Method Orange need a win here. The two teams that they're basically tied with for 4th place are most likely, I mean, the move's already through to the top 4. Resurgent would be if they won this series. It would be a disastrous situation for them. Method Orange need a win.
All right, let's see if they can do it here. Sam's going to be tagged in. They're already pulling significant defense from Zach initially. Sam I am on the attack. Zach pinned behind the pillar, trying to get in line of sight of Colo to recover and back in the fight, but cycloned at low health. Beautiful offense by Method Orange.
Yeah, Zach's going to be in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have a single defensive cooldown left. Colo has to play catch-up. This is what Method Orange loves to do as this composition. Go after the Windwalker Monk, really punish him. And you can see, I mean, Trill still has his touch of death available. It's going to be a lot of available damage onto Zach, and there's no real response. Look at it. There's literally nothing. Samayam getting bursted down. Good damage here. Now Zach going to be in a lot of trouble. Once Trill and Samayam decide to get aggressive, I really feel like Zach is going to be in so much trouble. Oh!
Close call for Sam there. Ice blocking on incredibly low health. Trill still has the power play. Let's see when he decides to initiate it. If they can cross crowd control Colo, then Method Orange could close this out momentarily. They need to crowd control both Colo and Zach at the same time. Sidu jumps in to crowd control Colo, but Zach wasn't crowd controlled, so he's just going to walk away from that fight. It's definitely not an exchange he wants to take right now, with Touch of Death still available. Trill waiting for the perfect moment. Zach equally so. Perhaps we see a push here. Colo sneaking across the map, stunning Sidu. Big power play on a Sam here. Huge pressure from Resurgent. Temporal Shield needs to be enough. It's going to go off. Valido's Frost Nova away, but dispelled out quite quickly. Colo counterspelled on his follow-up Cyclone. Sidu looking to try and crowd control him himself, but can't keep up. Not able to keep up with the travel from there. Now looking for a Cyclone at low health, not finding it. Zach can activate Fortifying Brew, Cycloned on it now finally. Trill Cycloned by Colo. Both Druids going a little bit Cyclone happy here in game number 2. Not really of too much consequence just yet, aside from potentially Valido stealing some crowd control. Sidu sitting through a Cyclone. Sam being pressured down. Huge attack by Resurgent. He isn't able to get away. Big pressure here. Second ice block. Method Orange can't afford to be knocked out of the tournament. This is their counter map, their counter pick. They're down 2 blocks. This is devastating for them.
Colo did a really good job there. Actually shadow melded the bash of Sidu and got the counter crowd control on Sidu, and that's why they were able to get that second ice block. This is not looking good right now for Method Orange. Look at Samayam. He has no ice blocks whatsoever for another 4 minutes. Valido, Zach, they're all over him. They haven't been counter-pressured away. Zach, I mean, he's got no touch of karma right now. Sam lands a nice counterspell. Can they make anything happen with it? Really is the question. I can't help but feel like Method Orange is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Method Orange are in a lot of trouble right here. Sidu is interrupted. Ironbark needs to be enough, but he's cycloned. Ice Barrier gets crushed through. Trill with the clutch triple, trying to hold them at bay for a few more seconds, but Sidu doesn't really have those seconds. If Zach can connect, Sam will fall. Another Ice Barrier comes in the nick of time, but Colo is getting Cyclone after Cyclone. Colo with the carry. Resurgent take game 2. They looked insane compared to the boys in this matchup. That was actually insane. Resurgent are dumb. They lose this game. Hopefully they don't just explode as a roster. I mean, maybe that would be the best thing, but I would like to see them commit together as the reigning BlizzCon champions and just come up with some new compositions maybe, or just get better in these mirror matchups, because they're losing the mirrors. And at that point, if they can't rely on the counter-comping, they just need to be better than their opponents. So more games and more experience is the only way to achieve that.
I think this is the perfect situation for Method Orange. Just go into the mirror, outplay your opponent. Unholy Death Knight, Windwalker, mirror with the Restoration Druid. Method Orange, they need to play 3 great games in a row, and they can close out this series. We'll have to see if they're able to do it. They lost with the Frost Death Knight a little bit earlier on, but I feel like going head-to-head with the boys definitely gave them a little bit of experience and practice in this matchup. We'll have to see what they can do. Colo in the last game was looking phenomenal, and if he has another game like that, it could be trouble for Method Orange.
All right, let's see what they can get done here. It's match point for Resurgent. Trill the main focus point for them, and Valido actually the main focus point for Method Orange. So a huge targeting discrepancy between the teams in this mirror matchup. Valido breaking out of the stun to lead the charge. Trill's Touch of Death not even denting the target. Zach still has his Touch of Death available. That is a big threat. The red icon below the Monk's frame for Trill, so his is 1 minute and 42 seconds away, while Zach has his available as it's up in red. Valido now being pressured finally, but Colo ironbarks him. That should begin to stabilize. Sea-Doo in paralysis. Actually, Trinket's a paralysis. That could cost Sea-Doo. I would like to see Resurgent do a death grip swap to him at some point. Try and punish that.
It just doesn't seem like the Druid is really that targetable in the mirrors. I mean, in the past, we've seen the healer rushdowns, but when you grip them in, normally they have Barskin, they have Safeguard. Maybe it would pay off. I mean, maybe if they have enough uptime, they can pay off, but it just seems like it's really difficult to actually train down a Druid, especially with all the toolkit both Windwalker Monks and Death Knights have. And I think that's why we see this sort of slugfest in the midfield where the Windwalker Monks and the Death Knights are just putting out as much damage as possible, trying to avoid each other's Fists of Fury, and that's what it comes down to. The Druid sneaking away, trying to get off drinks. Sea-Doo gets gripped in. Big setup here by Resurgent. Triple leg sweep comes in. Sea-Doo, no trinket. He's got no Barkskin now. It's rolling. It's about to disappear. If Zach and Valido can stay on target, Sea-Doo could be in so much trouble.
Zach in hot pursuit, but Valido can't keep up, so he's going to be switching his attention to the DPS members as Resurgent go for a split damage strategy. This is the three-pronged assault style that we saw from the boys, and it provided a lot of potent damage and burned a ton of Sea-Doo's mana, so certainly is a good option. I would like to see it implemented on both sides. The grip into leg sweep, cleave down the whole team, time the grapple weapon out of the stun to continue the momentum on the Death Knight as well. We see a grip in on Colo. Method Orange looking to implement the strategy, but not even getting a Barkskin. Colo just going to walk that off casually. Mez the target here for a Resurgent as both teams now collide onto each other's Death Knights. Sea-Doo going to ironbark this assault. More than a fair trade, but now he's starting to fall behind as Valido tries to chase after him. Zach closes in on the right, but Sea-Doo has managed to escape back behind the balcony. Both teams continue slugging in midfield.
Yeah, and it looks like Method Orange is actually getting the better end of the exchange. Zach a little bit low, Valido low as well. Grapple weapon comes in a little bit too late though. He got the death strike off and Valido seems to be fine from that. Colo now throwing into Thorns. And now Sea-Doo's in trouble. He's caught into a bash. He's trying to escape. Can he get away? Zach's still all over him. Sea-Doo could easily fall. He's got the Barkskin. He's got the Safeguard. Zach and Valido there. Sea-Doo needs help. Mez and Trill, they need to help Sea-Doo as soon as possible. He does manage to escape, but if Zach and Valido can stay on target, Sea-Doo could easily fall. The only thing he has left is his trinket. We really need to see good deals coming in from Trill. Trill's going after Colo, but they're just so far behind on this race. I really think it's the wrong move.
2 seconds to Ironbark. They drop the Ring of Peace. Sea-Doo runs through it. Good support by Trill. Sea-Doo, I don't think he can even believe that he's alive right now. There's a huge amount of pressure. It cost him so much mana, so many cooldowns. They're so far behind in the mirror. It just feels like Method Orange are playing from behind. Trill, touch of...
that was scary.
Karma.
That was really scary.
2% health.
Beating.
This is...
I hope so.
Method Orange
be
just
dead.
feel like I don't know if they're going on tilt or if they're not confident in the mirror. They're not sure what the most effective strategy is, so maybe they're just disgruntled in their communications, but things are falling apart. They need to clean this up.
Yeah, they have a lot of momentum right now. Zach is getting low. He has to trade out the Touch of Karma, so at least both Windwalker Monks are on even footing. Colo at around 40% mana. Sea-Doo looking like he wants to sneak away for a drink, and unfortunately not able to find it, but he's still even on mana with Colo. Zach getting targeted down. He's in a lot of trouble right now. Grapple weapon comes in. They go after Sea-Doo as they grip asphyxiate him. That's going to be the Iron Bark as Sea-Doo looks to leap away, but they commit the Touch of Death. Sea-Doo's in some trouble, trying to get away. I don't know if I like the Touch of Death from Zach on Sea-Doo. I guess he traded out the Iron Bark, and now they go after Trill. There's really no defense. What is Trill going to do? Safeguard procs. He's trying to kite away. He's still low. Evasive maneuvers from Trill as he uses his Transcendence to escape, but he's not out of it yet.
Yeah, Valido's hunting him down. Zach being pressured by Mez. Mez is trying to solo carry the fight here. Colo gets interrupted by Mez. Mez doing all the momentum, but now with no more interrupts, Colo connects a huge regrowth off the back of that Soul of Force. Now Mez and Trill, they're stacked up. Zach sees the opportunity. He's going to go for a double leg sweep. Mez has to respond, trade out the Lichborn. Colo still with a slight mana lead. Dampening has kicked in. Method Orange are certainly not in a good position, but not completely out at this point. Valido going to use his Lichborn to stay aggressive on Sea-Doo. They're hammering down for the kill. 5 seconds away from Barkskin. Can Sea-Doo manage to escape to safety? He managed to now, with the dash, around the corner, catch a couple of heals. Trill Fist of Fury now onto Valido. Seems to me that the Death Knights are being targeted down a lot more here in Game 3, as opposed to the Windwalkers. Colo gripped into the fray. Method Orange trying to amplify the damage. Big heal from Sea-Doo in the back line. Sea-Doo trying to max range the death grip of Valido. At any point, I think Valito wants to sneak in a death grip. He's sidestepping back and forth between Sea-Doo and the fight. Good pressure right now, though, from Method Orange. Their damage is certainly there. Can they close it out? Colo's got Innervate. Sea-Doo is drinking. Do they see him? How much? I don't know if he actually got that much mana or if he just sat down. He's changing position. He's going to be drinking at the balcony as they didn't find him. He's still sitting in stealth. I mean, his team looks comfortable. If he can get any amount of mana, depending on where he opens in the fight.
There we go.
Colo is far away. Zach gets stalled for a second. Ring of Peace. How much mana Sea-Doo? How much mana Sea-Doo? He sits down again. They snipe him with the Moonfire.
No mana.
No mana. That's not good for Method Orange. They're on match point. We're coming to almost the end of the summer season. There's only two more cups after this. If they lose, they're not even in the top 4 to qualify to summer finals. They are so far away from the top 2 or 3 if they want to qualify to BlizzCon overall in points. They can't afford to lose.
Yeah, they definitely need a win right here, right now, but Resurgent isn't making it easy. Both Windwalkers, Gladiator, Safeguard does proc. They're both vulnerable. With Touch of Karma, they can keep themselves alive. Paralysis now on Sea-Doo. Zach gets low. He's caught into a stun. Can they take him down? And they do. Method Orange. Well fought, well earned victory. Sniping Zach.
I think mana and just doing as much damage. Basically, the famous quote from Wildcard Gaming: "Do damage, don't die." No, from Swapsy.
From Swapsy, yeah.
My bad.
The legend himself.
The legend Swapsy. Do damage, don't die. Try to get as many people caught up in those leg sweeps. Try to hit as many people with the Fist of Fury. Zach immediately gonna be using his, and you know, if they can force as much mana as possible from Sea-Doo or Colo, that's the team that's gonna get ahead.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens here. Zach getting open on early on. Method Orange looking to get aggressive. Zach reverses the pressure with a triple leg sweep. Nice setup there by Resurgent. Now a disarm over on Nemez as they're looking to deny the death strikes, and that's what we're going to be seeing in this matchup. Both monks going to be using the grapple weapon. Once they burst the Death Knight, normally the Death Knight can use the Death Strike, top himself off, but when the grapple weapon comes in, no longer can he use the Death Strike, and this is where you see this big amount of burst come in. Unfortunately, Valito is able to top himself off instantaneously after the grapple weapon does fade. Bash now on Sea-Doo. Colo moving forward. He's got no Cyclone, and Mez is in trouble. Mez is in big trouble. Touch of Death is now rolling for Zach. Can they take him down? Sea-Doo responds with the Ironbark. Big hit over on Mez. But with the Death Strike, he does manage to stabilize.
Yep. Good response by both teams here. Still match point for Resurgent. Still a lot on the line for Method Orange. Potentially BlizzCon qualifications on the line for Method Orange if they can't make it through and earn enough points to qualify to Summer. Because if they don't qualify to Summer, they're not going to earn enough points to qualify overall in the year. They cannot afford to be eliminated here. Resurgent gripping Sea-Doo into a triple stun. Mez going to respond with the Lichborn breaking out and trying to avoid some of the cleave damage. Good response on Mez's part. Sea-Doo crowd controlled further, but Colo as well. Zach the target here, so the targeting has switched up a bit. Method Orange focusing more on the Windwalker.
Yeah, and it looks like they do have good damage. Valito getting low, and they actually get topped off quite quickly. Both Druids doing quite well on mana, going for early drinks in the earlier stages of this game, where Zach, Trill, Mez, and Valito can kind of self-sustain a little bit more. The amount of damage and healing that they have, we'll have to see what happens. Colo throws out Thorns over onto Zach, but he's getting bursted down. He gets interrupted by Mez, and keep in mind, Zach was the one that fell in the last game. He had the Touch of Karma, but a beautiful Asphyxiate stun denied that. They were able to take him down. I feel like both the Windwalker monks ultimately are the main targets, but if you go after the Death Knight, you can force them very defensive, and ultimately, any one of these DPS could fall in this matchup.
All right, 2.5 minutes into this game, 2.5 more minutes to Dampening. At that point, things are going to get interesting, but Sea-Doo is already behind on mana. He knows that. He's trying to drink. Zach sees it. He rolls over immediately to stop it, knowing that mana is going to be the main point of contention in this matchup. They have to stop drinks on the Druids at all costs. Ring of Peace to try and protect Valito during this Fist of Fury from Zach. Good timing as he was grapple weapon, but then Trill switches his attention to Zach instead, looking to pull a Touch of Karma. Can he pull it? Trill going to Transcendence away from Zach's Fist of Fury. Zach going to Transcendence away back to Colo. Sea-Doo sits down. He gets a drink. He's back to full mana. And that's definitely, I feel like that's the highest impact in the game before Dampening is the Druid's ability to regenerate to full mana. Outside of that, it's going to be a bit of a cooldown trading blunder that could cost you the game, or the grapple weapon window.
Yeah, and Zach still a little bit low. This is a good attempt now over on the Mez. Zach has the Ironbark and the Thorns. He's going to be very durable in this situation. Can they take him down? A lot of incoming pressure here from Method Orange, but equally Resurgent getting some damage rolling on their own. C2 ahead on mana at this point in the game. Right now, Resurgent, they are on match point. Method Orange, they need to win this game if they want to stay in this series, and they have to win another one after that. Method Orange was struggling in the earlier games, but now bringing it back to the Windwalker Unholy Death Knight. This is a composition Trill and Mez have been playing together for quite some time. C2 healing them up. And what's interesting about this matchup is Colo was the old healer for Mez and Trill, so it's got to feel good for him being up in the series 2-1 right now, beating his teammates that essentially ditched him earlier on, or a couple of years ago. So I think this is one of those matchups where Cole's got to be feeling good, but they're just one game away from closing it out. Zach portals away as there's a lot of pressure. Both teams slugging it out in the midfield.
All right, both teams continue slugging it out. 30 seconds away from Dampening, but C2's Drinking has bought his team a significant advantage in game number 4. Looking solid to close it to a game number 5. And if we do that, our Resurgent going to be forced to turn tail and run off the mirror matchup and go for a counter pick. Potentially their Rogue Mage, Paladin, an all-in assault against Method Orange. That might be their only option. Colo sneaks away. Who's going to stop him? How much does he get? If he can tie up with C2 a little bit closer at least, it's better than nothing. 5 seconds away from Dampening.
Yeah, C2's mana is doing really well, and I just don't know if Cole is going to be able to sneak away for a drink. Method Orange has been doing a really good job denying him, and this map is actually backfiring a little bit for Resurgent. They're the ones that tried to bring it to Dalaran Sewers. Trill getting really low, though. Has to trade out the Touch of Karma. Such a scary moment. Valito in trouble as well. Double leg sweep comes in. Valito gets gripped off the side of the map, out of line of sight of Colo. Mez getting disarmed. Zach just trying to peel up Mez a little bit there, trying to deny some of that damage. CD once again sitting down for a drink. He recovered all of his mana. This is massive. Touch of Death rolling. Trill's in so much trouble. A massive hit. This could be a blunder. CD went for a drink, but he's just so far behind. Trill needs to stay alive, but Zach and Valito, they're all over him. CD gets gripped in. Double stun. Trill portals away. Evasive maneuvers. Can Trill keep himself alive? Hibernate on CD. Trill running for his life. Asphyxiate stun coming in from Valito. A beautiful ring of peace from Trill. Nice tactics in order to survive. CD lands the bash over onto Zach. And now I think Trill is going to be able to hold on. But that was a really good offensive play by Resurgent. Good crowd control from Colo. But at the end of the day, Trill did such a good job to survive.
Oh, Touch of Karma from Zach. He wants to make a big push onto Trill, but Trill has thorns on him. Not sure if he's going to be able to. What's the mana situation? Oh, that's not looking good, Colo. You need to get a drink really quick. But you're gripped into the fight. I don't think you're going to find it anytime soon. Stunned up. Valito anticipating damage, activating Lichborn before it hits. Zach is the one that's most exposed, likely to be the target for Method Orange here. They had a near-death experience. I actually can't believe that they made it out alive at the end of that crowd control, but they are alive, so they still have the potential to carry through. C2's Drinking has a significant advantage here in Dampening. Colo is being crowd controlled relentlessly. Iron Park and the Gladiator Safeguard going to proc. Zach and Valito trying to power through on Trill to get his Touch of Karma. Will they find it? Yes, they do. Almost immediately after the fact. Trill gets vortexed on his roll. Trying to attack Zach. Big hits by Trill. Zach ducks around the corner. Colo tries to reconvene to heal him up, but he gets vortex back in by C2. Flying Serpent kick away, but Trill in hot pursuit. Trill trying to connect one more, but Zach goes for the Fist of Fury, parrying the incoming attacks. It might just be enough for him to bounce back. Colo coming out of the stun in 1 second. Zach somehow stays alive, but still the mana in favor of Method Orange.
Really nice plays there by Zach, getting away, using the Fist of Fury to avoid all incoming attacks and actually getting the disable route onto Mez in order to create some space and escape, but he's still in trouble. There's a double leg sweep. Colo has to play catch up at this point. Zach has 5 seconds left on that Touch of Karma, but Touch of Death is rolling. Who's it on? Is it on Zach? A big hit on Zach. He has a Touch of Karma. I think he can survive this, and it's going to be Trill that goes on the back foot at this point. Now Zach and Valito, they can go after Trill. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. He has no defense. Paralysis on C2. Trill trying to run. He's trying to hide. Resurgent looking to close out this series and eliminate Method Orange from the tournament. Bash on C2. Colo moves in for the crowd control. They're way behind on mana, but they could just take Trill down. C2 seems to have healed through it. And now it's Zach that's in trouble.
Touch of Death. Big power play for Zach. He's doing huge damage. Touch of Death about to explode. There's no defense. He's on the run. C2 trying to pick him up. All that mana he's been drinking is the only reason they're still in the game, but that mana is slowly dwindling away from Method Orange, which means it could be anyone's game. Method Orange developing pressure on Valito and Zach. Colo, he needs mana. How is he going to get it? His whole team is just dead. It's looking solid now for Method Orange. Even though there were a couple dicey moments, it doesn't matter. matter. They're still alive and they're still in it. They still have the lead, and Zach's in trouble. There's nothing really left for him. He's trying to avoid the fight, grip away from Trill. Mez trying to march for the kill using an aggressive anti-magic shield, and Mez is going to close it out, tying it up 2-2.
Absolutely.
To maybe eliminate their entire year's worth of competitions in this one game.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what Colo decides to do. What strategy has he cooked up here for Method Orange? Resurgent normally have a plan and they stick to it in a match. What are they going to be able to get done? Method Orange has to do a really good job rotating through the defensive cooldowns. They've been playing really well in this series so far. And we'll have to see, can they take game number 5? It all comes down to this.
It looks like Resurgent, this is what I meant by the first 2 minutes. Couldn't matter if Resurgent choose to not attack. But they're playing it patiently. They're in combat. They're looking for Sea-Doo in stealth. If they can find him, maybe they do an all-in while he's in cat form. That's what they're playing it patiently for. But grip into double stun. Colo's coming back in hot pursuit to try and peel off this initial attack. Zach charges forward. They stun Sea-Doo. He's out in midfield. They're going to do the all-in. Yes, they are. Barkskin from Sea-Doo. He needs to be enough. He pre-ironbarked, I think he pre-ironbarked Trill. He pre-ironbarked Trill. Any magic zone trades for Combust and Vendetta. This is an all-in from Resurgent. Sea-Doo opts to abandon the anti-magic zone, instead trying to reposition at the pillar, but the entire team is dogpiling on him. Mez is still polyed. It's match point. Everything on the line. Renewal going to be traded by Sea-Doo. A big heal. It needs to be enough. Guardian Affinity selected there. Frenzied Regeneration adding a huge amount of healing as well, but now in a full Hammer of Justice, has to use the Gladiator's Medallion. Now he's susceptible to blind with a Blessing of Protection kill on Trill. I would like to see Resurgent switch their strategy now that Sea-Doo has survived the initial assault, but they keep hammering down on it, but they go for a diminishing return stun, and this is a throw.
That was really bad. That was a big disaster for Colo. Unfortunately, Sea-Doo's going to be able to walk away from that one unscathed. If they had just been patient, there would have been no trinket and no Barkskin, and this is the perfect opportunity for Method Orange. Sea-Doo has been barely holding on with that bear form. Kitty shot now preemptively Ironbark it. Nice plays from Sea-Doo. Gets the Ironbark on the kitty shot. That's going to keep him alive. Doesn't have to use the Barkskin. Triple leg sweep or double leg sweep comes in from Method Orange. And Sea-Doo, if he can keep playing this well, I don't know where the opening is for Resurgent.
Yeah, he's survived the first 2 minute mark. It's looking good for Method Orange. Colo's, he's just going all in. This is reckless by Resurgent, and I don't think it's working for them. I would much rather see the line where they blind and go after the Windwalker. Blind Sap, Bop Karma, win the game. I feel like that has to be their best line, but they're still continuing to hammer on towards Sea-Doo. He shapeshifts out of form in between the stuns there. Maybe a bit of a mistake on his part, but he survives it regardless. Colo gets gripped, but he's got freedom. He's in hot pursuit. It's do or die to kill Sea-Doo. Avenging Crusader going to be adding a lot of damage here. Sea-Doo needs to respect it. A bit surprising to not see the Renewal or Ironbark in this position. He's managed to hold on to it a little bit longer. Zach can't keep up.
Nicely done.
He has to come back and support Colo. Sea-Doo manages to stay alive.
Beautiful peels by Trill and Mez. Sea-Doo doing a great job. Resurgent trying to make this all-in happen, but slowly but surely, Method Orange is pulling ahead. Colo uses the evasion. He does have the Vendetta. Sea-Doo's still in some trouble. With no Barkskin and no Trinket, he is really vulnerable. He's going to have to preemptively Ironbark once again. Is he going to get it off? He's in bear form. Into a kidney shot. Anti-magic zone available for Mez, but he wants to save that for the combustion. Sea-Doo in a secondary stun. What's he going to do? He has the Ironbark. He has the Renewal. Dragon's Breath comes in. Sea-Doo able to get a big heal on himself. Kleptomania comes in from Mage, and that gets to spell steal the Gladiator Safeguard. Sea-Doo crosses the map once again, and he's going to be completely fine. And Colo, once again, he's getting low. Zach really struggling to keep him alive.
I think that this strategy is becoming too predictable. They get the Gladiator's Medallion again from Sea-Doo. Blind him and kill the monk. I feel like Sea-Doo's in a position where he's like, all right, I can handle this. If you want to keep attacking me for the rest of the game, I'm going to keep all my haunts on myself. I'm going to keep running circles around you. My team's going to support me. At this point, I want to see them change targets. Their strategy is just way too predictable. Mage tries to catch him off guard with a counterspell, but Sea-Doo repositions, avoiding Colo. Colo can't keep up with them. Sea-Doo just playing Ring Around the Rosie on the pillar. Colo can't connect, and I mean, at this point, I don't think Sea-Doo's going to be going down. They've not been able to kill him in 2 Vendettas at this point in the game. Fortunately, mana is at least even on their part. Colo caught in the stun, Zach in a paralysis. Big push attempt here by Method Orange. Mageddon likely to try and take control of the game. Zach charges in, and there, finally the swap onto Trill, but Sea-Doo pre-Ironbarks it. Colo's now behind, trying to recover and retreat away, but they're not supposed to be the team on the run on hook point with the Rogue Mage Paladin. This is looking bad for Resurgent.
This is looking horrible. I mean, Colo could easily just fall here. Zach, of course, has some defensive cooldowns left. Is he going to be able to get them off? Ultimate Sacrifice comes in. Colo, no choice but to kidney shot Trill. Can they take him down with a sheep on Sea-Doo? Anti-magic zone comes in the nick of time. Fortifying Brew, Touch of Karma available for Trill. Ultimate Sacrifice
blind.
still. There's the blind. This is
Bop
Touch
it.
of Karma. What do they have
doesn't-
available? There's no Blessing of Protection, and now they're going after Colo. He's in trouble. Sea-Doo, does he have the healing to keep Trill alive? The Hammer of Justice comes in. Trill has to survive. We need evasive maneuvers. He trinkets out. Transcendence is away. He has the Fortifying Brew. He needs to get it off. We need to see the Fortifying Brew. This is scary. Ultimately, Trill does survive. He manages to hold on to that defensive cooldown. Sea-Doo recovers. Method Orange looking good.
Touch of Death available, Vendetta available. Both teams really threatening here as Dampening is kicked in. Mana isn't looking too good on either side at this point. To be honest, it could be anyone's game. Sea-Doo can't afford to make a single mistake. They go for the double stun on Colo and Majidin. Trill now the primary focus for Resurgent. Mez and Polymorph Ring of Frost attempt, but it gets disrupted. He doesn't land the ring. Sea-Doo needs to dodge Poly, but he's in Dragon's Breath. Colo silences him and breaks the Dragon's Breath. Not a big fan of that. Vendetta gets popped. Fortifying Brew from Trill. This is going to make him very tanky and also add to the damage of his Touch of Death, which is about to go off. How much damage is it going to do? Not too much. Feint from Colo, timed well to absorb some of the hit, but Zach's mana, it's taken a bigger one. Almost completely out at this point. Once again, Resurgence's strategy is becoming predictable. I feel like now they're spending too much time on Trill. They didn't spend time on him when they could have found victory with the Blessing of Protection strategy. Now they're just so far behind. Dampening at 8%. Zach is struggling to even keep Colo alive. Can Zach manage to do it? Blessing of Freedom. Colo kiting for his life right now, running away from Trill and a Poly. Mez wants to just end this. They get the Gladiator safeguard from Colo. That shield out of the way, but Method Orange are in a dominant position.
Yeah, Trill in a kidney shot right now. Colo in desperation, trying to get some sort of pressure rolling. There's the full leg sweep. Zach with the Blessing of Protection. Now they've lost the opportunity to remove the Touch of Karma. Things are looking so good here for Method Orange. Are they going to be able to reverse sweep Resurgent, stay in the tournament, and keep their dreams of the summer finals alive? I have to say they're playing this series excellently. Good coordination, good teamwork, good individual play. Blind on Trill. Kidney shot on Sea-Doo. Resurgent still battling it back. They're trying to take down Sea-Doo. And an all-in. He's got the bark skin. He's got bear form. He's got hots. He should be fine. Blind sap onto Trill. Sea-Doo trying to escape, but we've seen Restoration Druids just outright die. And Colo is still all over Sea-Doo. Just have Trinket, Ironbark, and Renewal. Trill coming back to defend just a little bit. Colo has to be careful. He has the evasion, but Vendetta's coming up very shortly. They still could make an all-in attempt on Sea-Doo. He's certainly not entirely safe.
Close call. Colo trades evasion. Ultimate Sacrifice, the last line for Zach. He's totally out of mana. Sea-Doo shortly after, but Colo's behind on terms of momentum. Trill gonna protect Sea-Doo with the Ring of Peace. They can't connect. Colo's in trouble. Ultimate Sacrifice trades out. Colo goes for the all-in, but Sea-Doo sees it coming. He's in bear form. He trinkets. He's gonna just respect this fully. Trade the Ironbark. He doesn't want to die to the all-in of Resurgent. He knows if he stays alive there, they're gonna win. Zach needs to drink. If he can drink, maybe he gets his team back in the fight, but he stops the drink. Colo is solo on health.
Touch of Death!
Death about to go off. Colo in a leg sweep. Trinkets out on the run with Cloak of Shadows, but Touch of Death is still going to be a big hit. Zach, his vision of perfection, procs and Avenging Wrath, exactly when he needed it.
Yeah, nice. I mean, that was honestly a little bit lucky there, and ultimately Colo's going to be able to survive. Kidney shot on Trill. Keep in mind, Sea-Doo, he's got no trinket. He's got no trinket. Trill could actually be in a little bit of trouble. He does have the Touch of Karma available. Is he going to trade it out? I cannot believe Colo is still alive. Hammer of Justice on Sea-Doo. Touch of Karma trades out. No way. Resurgent is going to win this game. Trill barely holding on. There's no crowd control on Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo going to be able to recover. There's the kidney shot. Ironbark trades out. Trill could just fall. Sea-Doo has no mana left. He's got no mana left. Resurgent might be able to win this game. Mez trying to take down Colo. This is so back and forth. Trill needs to stay alive. Sea-Doo sitting down for a drink. Mez might just take Colo down, but it's Zach. He procs once again. Colo barely surviving. Kidney shot on Trill. Are they going to be able to take him down? Colo gets gripped in. Stun on Colo. Stun on Trill. Double stun from Zach and Colo. Trill closes it out. Method Orange playing beautifully. I mean, if we had any